Hello, gamers. You're listening to the Short Pause Gaming Podcast. This is episode number 132. And welcome back to another edition of the Short Pause Gaming Podcast. I'm Brent Felsing, and joining me tonight, the entire squad, Frankie Ayler, Ben Boyce, Bender Holt. Gentlemen, how are we doing this fine evening?
Pretty good.
Pretty good. I got a thumbs up from Frankie. And Boyce, you look like you lost weight because you were outside in 95-degree heat all day.
Yeah,
well done.
I was out there for a while, man. No, I'm doing good.
Good to hear. Good to hear. Man, how about this weather, though, dude? Seriously, it's almost October, and it was 95 degrees today.
Yeah, pretty wild. Just, strange weather here in Michigan, as usual.
95 and humid is not fat guy friendly. I can tell you that right now. It's not fat guy friendly. When it's October, like late September, October, I'm looking forward to the fat guy weather. 65, cloudy, nice and cool. This 95 stuff can go is for the birds. It's can't stand it. It's terrible.
Yeah, it's drug on a little too long.
Yeah, it's time for summer to take a hike for a little bit. But we got a lot to talk about tonight. We've got a hell of a release list to go over. But let's talk about what we've been doing this week. Let's talk about all the games we've been playing. We've been playing so many games. We just did the Leviathan raid in Destiny 2.
That's not accurate.
Well, did it is a very generous term.
Attempted.
There you go.
The Leviathan
Yeah,
raid.
right.
It's a work in progress.
It's a work in progress.
Still.
Yeah, we're only about where we're at. We're at the Pleasure Gardens.
Mm-hmm.
Really, the first area. I mean, we haven't even gotten one checkpoint yet.
Yeah, this is true. Yeah, we haven't gotten a single checkpoint yet. But early impressions, just a quick round the table of the raid or what we've played so far, exploring the palace. We won't go into any details about how to beat certain areas or beat the first area that we got through, but just talk about like what we've experienced so far. Do you like what you've played? Do you like exploring the palace? Boys, let's start with you.
Yeah, I mean, look, dude, I've made no bones about the fact that Destiny raids are some of my favorite things to do, and I love going into these things, no matter how hard they are or how many times we have to try it to go in here and try and figure this stuff out. I just think it's a lot of fun. You're going through that first area, figuring that out, completing that. That was great. Then we discovered some of the mysteries that were kind of laced through that first area. That was a really cool discovery. And then the section we're at now, we've done 2 nights of the raid now, and this section that we're at early on in the raid is difficult, but every time we go through it, we learn a little bit more about it, and I'm sending you like some strategies that we should consider thinking about in the future, and kind of jogging our brain on ways that we can do better at this. And I love stuff like that, man. Like, I love going in there with 6 guys, don't know what's going on, trying to figure out the best way to get from point A to point B and get to the area. So it's very challenging early on, but at the same token, we're not executing like we should be. Like, our strategy's not there yet 100%. So it's something that we need to continue to work on, and I'm looking forward to the point where we get past that and we like figure out the best strategy that works for us, and then we get to move on to the next section. But I love this kind of stuff, man. So I'm having a great time with it.
Mm-hmm. And you mentioned one thing. You said something along the lines of it was really cool discovering something about the Leviathan, and I'm not going to use the word cool. I'm going to penalize Frankie for discovering a certain room after, because we had a pretty good plan. We're like, okay, look, we'll go to about 1:30, 2 o'clock, and that's when we'll do a hard stop. That's when we're going to be good. And we had reached the Pleasure Gardens. We had tried a couple times, like, okay, it's just not happening tonight. We'll reconvene the next night. We'll try again. And just as I was about to leave the party, to go to bed, get a good night's sleep, Frankie has to say, hey, I found a room with some stuff. An hour and 40 minutes later. I mean, seriously, it's on the stream. It's and that's just Destiny. I mean, that's what we like about these raids, the discovery of things, figuring things out for yourselves. And we saw some progress in that. You know, the raid is sort of different in this one. I mean, you've got the raid, you have the missions, the objectives that you have to do, but this one rewards you even more for exploring the area of the raid. It's really hard to explain without spoiling anything, but there's just a setup. The way that the Leviathan is set up, it's very interesting and it's very intricate, the insides of it. And I don't want to say anything else other than to tell you, just explore. Don't rush right to the objective. If you hop in there with 6 friends, explore the Leviathan before you get into your first battle, because there is a lot going on there. But Frankie, let's go to you, Mr. Hey, I found a room. What's your thoughts on the raid so far, buddy?
Very tough. Very, very tough. I still am not really even sure what we're doing or if we're doing anything right, really. I mean, progress is progress, I suppose, but I don't know. It's just it's frustrating and also, tough. Very tough. So and I mean, I don't know if it's just like where our light levels are. I know a couple of us are kind of nearing 290, and we have a couple who just got to 260 rolling in there. So I don't know if it's just we don't have enough firepower. Probably have to kick some of you guys out. Get Jake in there with his coil and do it that way. I don't know, but no, it's very 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 challenging so far. And I mean, that's not a bad thing per se. I mean, I actually. The first area we're in, it gets so hectic, so fast. Like, things just escalate quickly. You got, Cabal just pouring in left, right, center, from behind it. There's everywhere. And just, it gets out of hand really fast every time. So, but, in the times that we've done so far, we've obviously seen improvement. I think it took us like a half hour probably the first time we did that, and we're down to 15 minutes or so. So that's great. Obviously, the first area we got to, we learned some things as we kept our trial and error ways up. I apologize now, those of you, if you're watching the stream. I'm not even watching the comments. I have no doubt that there are people in the comments screaming at us to do it the way it's probably supposed to be done. But I mean, this is also the cool part. Like, once we finally get through that one room, like, it's going to feel so damn good.
Oh yeah. Absolutely. And like you said, you mentioned, we're not really sure where we're going. We're not really sure if we're making progress. I count progress by loot chests. And damn it, after we got past that first section, we had a loot chest. We got some gear and some stuff. So that's all the progress I want to see from a raid, is just those loot chests keep popping up once in a while. So, yeah, good stuff from you. Bender, how about you, man? Your thoughts on the Leviathan raid so far?
I think it's cool. I agree with Frankie, though. It is very tough. We are making very gradual incremental progress as we learn the mechanics of the first couple of areas. It's rough though. It's not easy. I'm confident that we'll get through it eventually, but after we figure this area out, we don't even know what's coming after that. So But I like it so far. I think the area is really cool. The whole temple thing, it looks awesome. It's a very cool looking area that you explore and all that. So it's really interesting. I can't wait to see the rest of it and get to the final boss battle and everything. It's going to be a cool moment when we finally beat it. But I like it so far.
Yeah, you guys basically touched on everything that I thought. I mean, it's a cool setup. It's very mysterious. There's a lot of stuff to explore. It rewards you for exploring. There were a couple things that we stumbled upon. We're like, whoa, what? How'd we get here without going through this spot? I mean, there's a lot of stuff hidden within the Leviathan. So, again, all we're going to tell you is just make sure you explore as much as possible. Keep tuned to the Short Pause Gaming channel on YouTube. We'll be streaming the raid as we make our way through it. I think we're gonna go again Monday night before the reset. And yes, Frankie, if people are chiming in the chat room about what we should be doing, we're not reading it anyways. So I can't say save your breath. I guess save your fingers. Don't bother typing. We're not going to read any of that stuff. We want to go in blind. We don't care how long it's going to take us. It's going to make it that much more rewarding when we do beat it. So
yeah, we know the answers are out there. We could look them up ourselves. We're deliberately not doing it. So sorry if it's frustrating to watch, but that's just what we're doing.
Yeah. So
that's the fun of it, man.
It is
watching it.
Yeah, that's the point of the raid.
Against the wall.
Yeah, and those moments of aha are the best moments. Or when you defeat a boss, or when you get past a section, or when you figure things out for yourself. It's very very rewarding, and that's why we're doing it the way we're doing it. The other thing I want to talk to you guys about real quick here before we get to the new releases is, one of the things that's been kind of turned into kind of like a divisive topic amongst Destiny 2 fans are the Nightfalls. We've all attempted the Nightfalls, some various degrees of success. Last week we did the Nightfall, and we found out there was one thing we were doing wrong with the rings. And once we figured that out, we were able to get to that Nightfall relatively easily, much easier than what we were doing the night before. This week's Nightfall proved to be pretty difficult, much more difficult than last week's. But one thing that we've noticed, even among some of the Short Pause Guardians in the chat room that we have up, or on Twitter, some of our friends that play Destiny 2, the Nightfall is kind of like a hit and miss with some from Destiny 2 fans, mainly because of the time limit. Now, we talked about this one. I remember when we first heard that there'd be like a 15-minute time limit on Nightfalls, we're like, no way. There's no way. There's no way that can happen. It's happened, and people aren't, not everyone is sold on that just yet. But now that we've all attempted the Nightfall, like I said, we've had a couple times we've gotten through. Sometimes we haven't. But I wanted to get you guys' thoughts on the time limit. Do you like it? Do you not like it? Bender, I want to come to you first.
I'm not a huge fan of the time limits. Especially, the times when we have failed on it. I mean, it sucks to spend 30 minutes working on this strike and and then just fail and get nothing for it. That's not really fun. I do like the fact that they switch up the way you regain time each week. First week it was rings that you have to jump through, then the second week it was these things that you have to shoot to increase. You get 30 seconds for each one that you do. So that's cool that they're kind of switching up the method of doing that. But it's fun when you beat it within the time limit, but when you don't, it's just so frustrating and so disappointing. And then that you just wasted your time for nothing and got no reward for it. So for that reason, I'm not a huge fan of the time limit, but I don't know. I don't know if that's something they're going to adjust or change or what they'll do. But, yeah.
Okay. Boys, where do you stand on it?
I'm fine with the time limit. I actually like it. I think it's cool that, like Bender said, that it changes up every week. It gives the Nightfall a different flavor. And I'm fine with the challenge. The Nightfall is an end game activity. This is supposed to be a challenging activity for us. And if we were to just roll in there and just roll through the Nightfall every single week, then it wouldn't be the same as as going in there and sometimes we win, sometimes we don't. And I'm totally cool with going through it. And if we fail, then we fail. I like these challenging things at the end of Destiny. So, and even though it's a 15-minute time limit, it's not really a 15-minute time limit. The last Nightfall that we did the other day was like 30 minutes long. After all was said and done, after you get all the time modifiers and whatnot in there. So, it's a different way to play a Nightfall, and I like that. We've played Destiny 1 Nightfalls for the last 3 years, so I'm okay if they want to switch it up, give us a different way to do things. This is only the second Nightfall we've done now with this new system, and this is going to continue to change up every week and give us kind of a different flavor. So I'm okay with it right now. As of right now, it's still a new thing. It's still exciting. I'm having fun with it. So down the line we'll just get grading. I don't know, but right now, a couple weeks in, I'm digging it.
Franklin?
I don't like it. I honestly just kind of hate anything that has a timer attached to it. And like Bender mentioned, it's frustrating, like getting to the last boss, having a sliver of life left, and you're kicked back to orbit. Another 3 seconds, and the boss would be down, and you're getting nothing for it. That's really irritating. But the thing that really bothers me the most about it is the fact that, like, when we were doing this week's Nightfall, I've done that strike one other time that I can remember, and I didn't even remember until we got to the boss, and I was like, oh yeah, this one. It's just like not being able to play the strikes individually and actually go through them the way they're supposed to be played. You're kind of funneled into a playlist, and I mean, like I've said before, I've been doing like the arms dealer, the inverted spire, like those are the ones that keep popping up for me, and I can't do anything about that. So if I want to keep playing strikes in the strike list, I just got to roll with what the game gives me. So there are obviously probably more strikes in there that I still haven't done. I didn't even know there was that Lake of Shadows or something that's on the PlayStation. I haven't come across that strike, and I don't I don't know how many other ones there are that I still haven't experienced, and it's irritating for me that. So, like, say next week there's a new strike and it's one that I've never done before. I don't want my first experience with that strike to be trying to figure it out under a time limit doing the Nightfall. It's really frustrating. And the other thing that like I was thinking about earlier is just when they started kind of tinkering out the first, with Destiny 1's Nightfall system, like they kind of changed the way that you did them because, they were worried like people were playing them too carefully because if everybody dies, you're going back to orbit. So they kind of took that out so that people weren't taking their time with it. So I don't know if they're trying to like deliberately trying to funnel people through these things like as quickly as possible or what the deal is, but I think it's more frustrating being on a time limit, being at the end of the strike, literally being a couple hits away from taking down the boss and then still getting kicked back to orbit through really no fault of your own. Like that's more frustrating to me than the team being at the last boss and everybody getting wiped out at once. Like at least we went down fighting, not like, oh, I guess we're just not going to finish this because we're running out of time. Like I feel like it's still a bit more bigger waste of my time trying to get through it on a time limit than like carefully making your way through there and trying to approach it and take out enemies or tackle certain areas with a certain strategy.
Okay, no, that makes sense. You make some good points there, and I'm going to be the jerk, I guess. I absolutely love it. I absolutely love the Nightfalls. I love the time limit. When I lose, we lose as a team. The thing that I like about the time limit, honestly, is when there is 10 seconds left and you have the boss at just a sliver of health and everyone's going at him and sometimes you lose, but man, when you win, the jubilation, the joy, the excitement, I mean, it's like a football game coming down to the last second and you guys get the win at the last second. I absolutely love that kind of stuff. I love the thrill. And when you unlock the Nightfalls from Zavala, he says this is a high risk, high reward event. And high risk, high reward means if you don't get in there and get it done in the time limit, you lose. And that falls under what he's calling it. So that's why I enjoy it. And I want it to be a challenge. I don't want it to be easy. If I want easy, I can go do the strike missions. That's I can go do that and I can take all the time I want and beat the boss and learn it. But a Nightfall, I like the Nightfall like this because it makes it special. It makes it a unique event. It makes it's not quite a raid, but it's up there with the raid in terms of its difficulty. You have a certain amount of time. It's on you to add time. It's on you to clear out the area. It's on you to progress. It's on you to work with a team. Work with your team using your different abilities, making sure you have the right ammo, making sure you have the right strategy. It's all on you. I don't want this stuff handed to me. I don't want to just walk into a Nightfall and know that I can sit back in a corner and I have unlimited time. I want a challenge, and that's why I like it. I know it's going to be there's a lot of different people that feel a lot differently about it. I respect that 100%. I'm just saying why I love the Nightfalls. I love that challenge. I love knowing that this is a high-risk, high-reward situation like Zavala said. And when you win at the last second, I absolutely love that, man. That's just how I am, though. So I just wanted to talk about that for a second. We want to get your thoughts. Do you like the Nightfalls? Do you like the setup? Do you like the timers? Do you not like the timers? Let us know. Podcast@shortpause.com. Hit us up on Twitter @TheShortPause. We want to hear from you. Sound off. We'll check out all your responses. Maybe we'll talk about them next week on next week's show. But Mr. Boyce, we have a hell of a list of games coming out this week. Let's go down this list, buddy.
It's big in this week, man. We are definitely in the fall season now. So let's get right to it. The first thing I want to talk about was a surprise release that hit us this week, and that's Final Fantasy IX. Showed up on the PS4 this week. This was courtesy of an announcement at the Tokyo Game Show from Sony. So they announced Final Fantasy IX for the PS4, and lo and behold, Tuesday it was on the store. So this is it's kind of like a half remaster of the game. Some of the cutscenes have been touched up. I think the game is in a widescreen format now. I know they tweaked with this game a little bit for the Steam release, I think earlier this year, so I don't know if this is the same version or not. I haven't actually fired it up yet to take a look at it, but Final Fantasy IX is a beloved game in the series, and it's cool to have it on the PS4 now, readily available with trophies and all that good stuff that we love. They've added some other modifiers to the game as well. Like you can eliminate random battles now. You can speed up the progress of the game as well. So they've added some cool like modern tweaks in there for the game as well for people to get in there and enjoy. So that it's awesome that this game's on here now. And what I'm now wondering is now that we have this game on here, like will we see some of these other Steam releases? Like will we see Final Fantasy VI make an appearance on the PlayStation 4? That's the one I want to get on here. Like, we need to get Final Fantasy VI onto some type of a PlayStation device now, whether it's the PS4, the Vita, whatever it is. This is one of the best games of all time. And the fact that it's got a release sitting out there for Steam now that Final Fantasy IX's here, I'm hoping it's only a matter of time before we see Final Fantasy VI make its way over here now as well. I think they've done Final Fantasy 3 on there. Not sure what other ones. Final Fantasy 5, I think they've tweaked that one and released it on there as well. I have to double check and see which ones, but exciting nonetheless. So just wanted to give a shout out to Final Fantasy 9 before we move on with this week's new releases. Now, coming out this Tuesday, Danganronpa V3 Killing Harmony, a game that's reviewing very, very well. People love this game. It's coming out both digitally and at retail. This is obviously the third game in the series. First two games were on the Vita. They were recently ported over to the PlayStation 4 as well, so you could get in there and kind of experience this whole saga for yourself. Franklin, you're a big Danganronpa fan. V3 hitting this week. Like I said, reviews are pretty much off the charts right now, so we can expect more of that great Danganronpa experience that people have grown to love over the years. What can you tell us about V3, man? What are you feeling now that it's coming out Tuesday?
I'm actually really excited about it. I have this pre-ordered, so I'll be picking that up on Tuesday. Yeah, it's reviewing very well. A lot of people like the reviewers are like really actually enjoying a lot of the mini games. I know a lot of them kind of. I mean, I didn't really get too far into the first game. I think I'm on like the second chapter. I mean, those chapters get really long, but yeah. I mean, it sounds like there's different mini games like outside of just doing the trials and the mini game, the like rhythm game that was associated with that. Now there's a larger variety of stuff, and apparently they're well implemented, so that's great. Story like highly acclaimed. Continuing the great storytelling of the series so far. So yeah, it sounds like this is going to be a great. I think it's the final game they're doing. I mean, I'm sure they'll find something else to do with it, but this should conclude like that storyline. So that's awesome.
Nice. Yeah, this is a series I want to get into that I haven't got into yet. I've heard so many great things about it. I have the titles on the Vita. I do need to pick them up for the PlayStation 4 at some point, but definitely want to get in here and see what Danganronpa is all about. Brent, did you ever get into this series?
I did. Yes, I played it quite a bit on the Vita. It's a very unique series. It's a very graphic series. There's a lot of deep themes that it explores, and I also love that I got my notification the other day of the collector's edition that shipped. So that's forgot about that one when it got deducted from my bank account.
There you go. A trap many of us will be falling into over the next few weeks and months as we as some of these things we've inadvertently or not pre-ordered start coming through the pipeline. So yeah, if you enjoyed the Danganronpa game, sounds like this is a great one. If you haven't checked it out before, definitely hop in here and see what it's all about. But people are loving this one. So this one's on the Vita as well, which is awesome. So whether you want to experience it on the PS4 or on the Vita, Danganronpa will be available for you this Tuesday. Another big release this Tuesday is Pinball Effects 3, a game we've documented over the last few weeks on the show here. But the value proposition in Pinball Effects 3 is incredible. Most of your Pinball Effects 2 or Zen Pinball 2 tables, whatever version of the game you're playing, will transfer over to Pinball Effects 3. They'll be available for you there free of charge with all the upgrades and all the cool stuff that they're doing with this game. I'm a big fan of the Zen Pinball games. They're a lot of fun. They make just really cool pinball tables that are fun to play in a virtual environment. So I have no doubt that Pinball Effects 3 is going to be more of the same and improve on that with some of the tournament features they're adding and some of the enhancements with graphics and whatnot. So really, really excited to get my hands on this. Frankie, I know you're a big Zen Pinball fan. You excited for FX3 this Tuesday?
Absolutely. Like yourself, I own, probably 50, 60 tables. So I do. I snap up anything they put out. They make amazing pinball tables. So especially the new ones coming out, that Jaws one especially looks awesome. So I can't wait to get in there and see the enhancements. I know they kind of enhance all the other tables that they bring over with the new features that the game brings along with it. So yeah, I'm excited. I've been craving some more pinball tables from them for a while. So it's good that they're doing the new version of the game. So look forward to checking that out.
Dude, Brent, we got Jaws, we got E.T., and we got Back to the Future. That's a hell of a trilogy of tables to launch Pinball FX3 with, and all of the Marvel tables and all of the Star Wars tables are making a transition into Pinball FX3 as well. So I'm pretty much set, man. I'm good. I'm good on my pinball tables. But yeah, you gonna be picking this one up on Tuesday?
I'll definitely consider picking it up. I want to try out Jaws. I like how Quint is the character that's making his way around the board. That's awesome. Robert Shaw was brilliant in that role, so I really like that character. So that's pretty cool that that's there. But this is something I'll probably pick up eventually, probably more sooner than later. But there's just so much going on right now, and we got a lot of other games we're kind of coming up this week that I know we are picking up. But this game looks great. I'll be curious to hear what Frankie says about it.
Yeah, Frankie, is Pinball FX 3 free? It's a free download. You just buy the tables for it, or how does this work?
I want to say yes.
Because I know that's how Zen Pinball 2 worked. You kind of picked up the free download and then you bought the tables for it.
Yeah. That's how I'm assuming this one will be. It'll be like a similar thing. It'll list all the tables and then import the ones that you have, and then it'll probably ask you to buy the new ones. But yeah, I have to imagine it's a free to launch, especially if you're bringing over all these other tables. So
yeah, I thought I read that. I just couldn't remember 100% if that's the way that this was operating. But an even better deal at that if you just do a free download and you've got your 60 plus tables, whatever you have, that just port right over with all the new features. That's awesome. So shout out to Zen. They do some great work with their pinball franchises. It's always been a great value. So definitely we'll be picking up and supporting FX3 when it comes out this Tuesday. Also this week, FIFA 18 will be out this Friday. So being the big sports fans that we are, we will all put aside Destiny 2 and get into our FIFA journey this Friday, September 29th. Gundam Versus is a digital and retail release, also releasing on Friday. It's a cool looking game. Frankie, is this like a fighting game? I can't tell if this is if it's just an arena based combat system where you go through a story and whatnot, or is this just kind of player versus player stuff? What do you know much about the Versus franchise?
Not really. I was watching very little bit of some of the beta streams that were from the beta a couple weeks ago, and it just looks like an arena versus game, but I'm not. I don't know what else was included with this. I assume there's got to be more to it with a $60 price tag on it.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen boss battles in there with some of the gameplay stuff I've watched. There's a multitude of modes. There's 3v3 and 2v2 and lots of different stuff you can do with it. So I'm sure there's some type of a single player campaign type of experience in this game. But this game looks really cool. It's developed from the ground up for the PlayStation 4. So if you're a Gundam fan, if you're into these fighters, definitely give this one a look. It's a pretty slick looking title. Now, this next group of titles, Brent, we're not doing one indie spotlight this week. We're not doing two.
3.
No, not 3 either.
At the most 4. There's no way it's more than 4.
We are not doing 4. We're doing 5. Got them 5 indie spotlights this week, and they are going to spotlight a nice group of titles that are coming out this week, headlined by Hob, Ruiner, Mecho Tales, Splasher, and Steam World Dig 2. So, Brent, why don't you explain to the people what we're doing this week with the Indie Spotlight?
All right, Mr. Boyce, here's how it's going to go. Starting on Monday, we will first stream Splasher. Okay, so we're going to lead off with Splasher on Monday. On Tuesday, Mecho Tales. And then on Wednesday, Ruiner. Thursday, SteamWorld Dig 2. And then on Friday, we'll go with Hob.
Nice. That's this is an impressive lineup of titles. Hob is that adventure, almost Zelda inspired game. Bender, have you seen Hob? This seems like something you'd get into, man.
Yes, I've been keeping my eye on Hob since it was first revealed, which feels like 2 or 3 years ago when they first showed a trailer for it. And then they just went silent for a while. I didn't see or hear anything about it. And then suddenly it's resurfacing and now it's coming out. So yeah, I've always been interested in it. It does look very Zelda-like. I like the art style. It looks like it's got some cool combat and puzzle solving. So yeah, I'm definitely interested in that one.
Yeah. Yeah, the game resurfaced a few months back. They've kind of ramped up the marketing for it. We've seen it appearing on the PlayStation blog. We've seen it showing up at different trade shows and whatnot. So, yeah, Hob looks really rad. Mecho Tales is our Tuesday game. That one looks really cool. This kind of colorful platformer from the people that brought us Plague Road recently. Another indie spotlight highlight. Ruiner looks absolutely badass, Brent. Just a dark cyberpunk like twin stick shooter. Looks like something right up my alley. I can't wait to watch you stream that one on was it Wednesday? We're doing that one? Yeah. definitely be tuning in for that. Splasher looks like Splatoon meets Super Meat Boy. So that's a very, very, very interesting looking title. Looking forward to playing that one. And then
that's ex Rayman developers.
Oh, is it?
That's what got my interest, was hearing the people behind it. So
yeah,
good.
That's a super interesting looking title. When I saw the trailer for that a week or two ago, I thought it looked really, really cool. So excited that we're going to be able to feature it on the indie spotlight. And then Brent, you've been digging into, no pun intended, SteamWorld Dig 2 recently, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
What it's available on the Switch right now. What's your early impressions of that one?
Really good. I really, really like it. There is a lot of exploration there. It's very much a Metroidvania style game. There is a lot to explore. I mean, a lot to explore. And then basically what you do is you go throughout the world. You're digging around. You're collecting like these resources that you can use to buy and upgrade your character, whether it's like at a grappling hook, improve your pickaxe, improve how much stuff you can carry in your bags. It's a very cool game. Love the soundtrack. It runs great on the Switch. 60 frames on the Switch. Real sharp image. Looks really, really good. I've really enjoyed the time what I played with it so far. I'm looking forward to streaming that one.
Nice. Yeah, so the PlayStation 4 version, we can expect to run pretty well as well, and that one's cross-buy with the Vita, so you'll be able to get both of those as a part of that deal. But really, really excited about this package of games that we're going to be featuring this week. We do our best on the website here to highlight some of the titles that don't often get a lot of the limelight, through some of the things that we stream and through the indie spotlight. So I'm excited that we can take this week, which is a big, big week for indie titles, and spotlight them all week long on our YouTube channel. So that's awesome. And that's one of the things that's kind of been lost this year, is the fact that there's all of these like blockbuster AAA releases that are awesome and that people are loving and having a great time with. This has been a very, very good year for independent games as well. So this week is going to be a testament to that. It started earlier this year with something like Fly Wrench, and we've gone up through like Nex Machina and there's so many cool games that we've played this year from a downloadable or independent side of things. That it's gonna be exciting this week to fire up all this stuff. So I'll handle Splasher and Mecha Tales on Monday and Tuesday, and Brent, you'll rock out Wednesday, Thursday, Friday with the rest of the games there. So looking forward to it, man. So stay tuned. Short Pause Gaming on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't, so you don't miss an episode. All right, moving on with the release list here. Now this next one I have an asterisk next to, because I have a feeling this is not coming out this week. It's Megaton Rainfall. It wasn't on the drop, which is the official list of PlayStation games that are coming out this week. Recently on Twitter, it was about 2 or 3 days ago, the developer sent out a tweet that said in a few days they'd have some release information about the game. We haven't seen that follow-up tweet yet with that release information. So the fact that they've announced a release date, they tweeted that there's release information coming, makes me think that maybe they've moved the release date of this game back. And the fact that it wasn't on the official list of PlayStation games this week has me severely doubting that this will be announced this week. But super, super interested in Megaton Rainfall. It's like a superhero simulator from a first-person perspective. It's also going to be available on PSVR. So if it does come out this week, look for it on Tuesday. If not, you heard it here first. It's not looking likely that's going to be out this week. Lightfield is also coming out this week. Very, very cool looking futuristic racer where you can drive on any surface. It's an interesting concept. So walls, ceilings, floor, any path you want to take to the finish line is available to you via this racer. Looks like it's going to have a rockin' soundtrack as well. Ninja Showdown is a Thursday release. This is from the 88 Heroes developers. They're involved with this project. Don't know a whole lot about it. Haven't seen any video footage of it yet, but it seems like it's going to be another like pixel art based platformer side scroller game. Outcast Second Contact is an adventure game. It's going to be out this Thursday. Blue Reflection, a RPG game. It's going to be out both digitally and at retail on Tuesday. Senran Kagura Peach Beach Splash is basically an R-rated version of Splatoon. So if you're into scantily clad women shooting each other with squirt guns, this is going to be your joint this week.
What's the name of that game again?
Asking for a friend.
Yeah, write this down. Senran Kagura Peach Beach Splash. So make sure you hop on that. It like I said, it features scantily clad women with really big water guns shooting each other. So it looks like a good time. Also coming out this week, Fragments of Him, interesting looking adventure title. Fort Defense, which is a tower defense game, a pirate tower defense game. That'll be out on Thursday. Mahjong World Conquest is a Thursday release. Firefighters Airport Fire Department is a Thursday release.
Terrible.
Yeah,
This is terrible.
That one's got 1 out of 10 written all over it.
Generous.
Eventide 2, The Sorcerer's Mirror, is an Artifacts Mundi hidden object joint. We've got a wealth of retail releases this week. So we've got The Girl and the Robot. This is from Sedesco. This is a retail release coming out this Friday. Interesting looking title. It almost has some eco vibes about it. It's a girl and this robot as they're trying to make their way through this castle, solving puzzles together. Fallout 4 Game of the Year Edition is available digitally and at retail this week. This is a solid deal. You get the main game plus I think it's all 4 pieces of major content that have come out for the game. So to get all that for $60, really, really good deal. There's a Pip-Boy version of this game as well. So if you missed out the Pip-Boy version the first time around, see if you can track it down with this one. Don't know if any of those are available as we speak, but they're out there. Pharaonic is another game getting another digital game that's been out for a while now, getting a deluxe release on retail this week. This is also a Sedesco joint. It'll be out on Friday as well. White Day, a labyrinth-themed school, is a retail release. This is available on PSN right now. It's Thursday. That's a Thursday release. Summon Night 6 is getting its retail release finally. This will be out Wednesday, September 27th. And some pieces of DLC that we want to hit up on. So In the Name of the Tsar, that's out right now for Battlefield 1. Black Manta, the latest DLC character for Injustice 2, is available right now. And then the Battle Royale update for Fortnite is releasing this Tuesday. Been a lot of hoopla out about this. I want to touch on this briefly with you guys. So PUBG, that's PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, recently they actually put out a press release like condemning Fortnite's Battle Royale update and calling them out, so to speak. And there's been a lot of hoopla about this. So let me pull up their exact statement here from the PUBG group. I think their name is Bluepoint.
No, they're Blue Hole.
Blue Hole. Yeah.
Blue Hole.
Blue Hole. Not Bluepoint.
Bluepoint.
Yeah. So this is a press release, and this is via Blue Hole Vice President Chang Han Kim. So he was concerned about the connection between PUBG and Fortnite. They had this to say, quote, "We've had an ongoing relationship with Epic Games through PUBG's development, as they are the creators of Unreal Engine 4, the engine we licensed for the game. After listening to the growing feedback from our community and reviewing the gameplay for ourselves, we are concerned that Fortnite may be replicating the experience for which PUBG is known. We have also noticed that Epic Games references PUBG in the promotion of Fortnite to their community, ending communications with the press. This was never discussed with us, and we don't feel that it's right. The PUBG community has and continues to provide evidence of the many similarities as we contemplate the very, very ominous sounding further action." End quote. So, this was their, like I said, they sent this out via a press release. So this was not the PUBG group, approaching Epic or the Fortnite people and, maybe introducing a legal aspect to this or talking about this behind the scenes. This was PUBG in the public eye, just coming out and just straight up calling out Fortnite. So I want to get your guys' thoughts on this. Brent, let me start with you, man. What do you think about this? What do you think about the way the PUBG group is going about this? Do they have a bone to pick with Fortnite and their Battle Royale update, which is admittedly very similar? Is there a case here? What do you think about all this, man?
Blue Hole doesn't own the genre. You don't see EA coming after Activision. Oh, your Call of Duty game looks a lot like Battlefield, or any of that. Or it's just. I'm sorry. This is just Fortnite is a different game. It's going to add a Battle Royale. There's been Battle Royale games that have been out before PUBG. I can understand. I think the one thing that PUBG is upset about is that the fact that Fortnite actually referenced PUBG in their announcement for this game. I mean, they said it's a direct an inspiration, if you will, from PUBG, and I think that's probably an issue that PUBG has with it. But other than that, I don't see what the big deal is. I mean, PUBG has 10 million units sold. I mean, what do they care if Fortnite is adding a Battle Royale mode? Yeah. I mean, the only thing that I could see that would probably bother them about is the fact that it's free to play. You don't have to have Fortnite to play the Battle Royale mode. It's a free download. It's free to play.
Really?
I
don't know.
I read it on that they said that it's going to be available for everybody. You don't have to have a founder's
Really?
pack.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I'll look it up. But
I heard that too.
It's very interesting.
Hmm.
This is an interesting wrinkle to things.
yeah,
We'll,
Fortnite
let you
Battle
verify
Royale. Fortnite
Mhm.
Battle Royale goes free for everyone starting September 26th.
That's cool. So yeah, so free for everybody. Awesome, Frankie. What do you think about all this, man?
I don't really see the big deal either. I mean, you have other games out there like The Culling. I was told Grand Theft Auto has a battle royale mode that is out. I didn't even know it came out, honestly. But yeah, I this is what happens. You know, you make the big hit, people are going to want to get in on that success as well. And if obviously Epic Games is a big player, and I don't. You should have expected this. You can't just put out something that's like this massive success and not expect people to go out there and try and get on that hype train while they can. So
yeah, it's it's interesting too because there's this kind of murky history with this battle royale genre. So PUBG is the kind of the direct successor to H1Z1, which was a battle royale game before PUBG. But H1Z1 was kind of based on this mod which the PUBG guy like originally made for Arma. So it's like there's this weird cycle of who made what first and who's responsible for what. But the H1Z1 guys are like, well, there'd be no PUBG without H1Z1. So they're saying that they didn't make a big deal about PUBG, but now the PUBG guys are like, well, the Fortnite guys are stealing our stuff. But yeah, it's like this is a genre of game, and what they need to be worried about is not only Epic, who's a big time developer, getting our hands on this, but what happens when Ubisoft puts this in the Division or Ghost Recon or something like that, and you get a developer that puts proper polish on something like this and puts it into one of their games. Then what happens to the battle royale genre? Like what happens to PUBG? Do people still love it for what it is? I mean, like you said, it already sold 10 million copies, so there's a lot of people that are invested in this franchise. But I'm curious what happens when one of these other developers puts a battle royale mode in one of their like big time AAA polished games. Like what happens to the genre and where does it go from there? But yeah, interesting nonetheless. Bender, do you have any thoughts on this?
Yeah, I agree with the guys. I mean, they don't own the genre. I mean, they couldn't seriously expect to have this huge phenomenon of a game and not have anybody try to do the same thing. When I heard when the Fortnite guys people first announced their battle royale mode and they mentioned PUBG is a huge influence, I was like, oh, that's cool. That's cool that they're mentioning that. They're being transparent. They're not acting like it's something that they came up with. So I was like, oh, that's nice. And then I heard that they were like, oh, well, they're copying us. I'm like, come on, man. You had to have expected this. And like you said, once a AAA developer does the same thing, I mean, what are you going to go after everyone? They didn't mention anything about GTA doing it. So I don't know. I think like Felsing said, it's just they're upset because they specifically mentioned PUBG in their press release when they did the Fortnite thing. So I don't know. I think it's a big fuss over nothing.
I didn't even know that GTA had a battle royale mode out. I had no idea that was a thing.
Yeah, I didn't even know it came out. I I tweeted about it the other day when all this happened. I was like, what are they gonna do when like Grand Theft Autos comes out? And then someone was like, dude, it's already out. I was like, oh well, all right. I had no idea. I heard it, I remember it being announced, but I had no idea it came out already. So, but the thing that kind of irks me is like, one, who the hell is Bluehole? Like Epic Games has been around forever, made some very influential titles over the years, and they're saying that they're influenced by you, and your reaction is to attack them.
That sounds like a huge compliment to me. I mean, you've got 10 million units sold. You're going to be a big hit on the Xbox One X, or the Xbox One when it launches later this year. I just don't understand the you're going to have competition. They can't expect you to just jump in and own the market and just never ever be challenged by another developer for a battle royale game. That's never going to happen. They've got their momentum. They don't have to worry about it. They need to focus on fixing up PUBG. You know, that thing I played on PC here once in a while, and it's progressively getting a little bit better here and there, but they need to focus on that and worry about that. Don't worry about what Epic Games is doing with Fortnite. If you continue to make your game and improve your game, people are going to keep playing your game. Now, the only thing I would say about Fortnite that's shrewd is going free to play. I mean, that's pretty sweet. And that'll definitely get people are going to download that game. And if they really enjoy it, then PUBG is going to have to hey, we're going to have to do better with our game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. One of the things they were getting at too is they want people to do their like own spin on the battle royale genre, and Fortnite is doing that as well. Like they're including their like crafting mechanics and some of the things that go into that game in their battle royale mode. So it's not like it's not just a carbon copy of the PUBG formula. It takes the broad framework of that and maybe even more than the broad framework, but they add their own little touches here and there that do make it a tad bit unique and more Fortnite than PUBG is itself. So yeah, I don't know that there's much of a leg for them to stand on, especially from a legal perspective. I don't know what they would be hoping to achieve with that, but yeah, just thought it was an interesting story nonetheless. So we'll kind of see where that goes from here, but I don't see this going much further than this. Another interesting Fortnite note here that happened last weekend, but apparently cross-platform play was live briefly between the Xbox One and the PS4 version of Fortnite. So people were noticing Xbox One like gamer tags in their PS4 games, and people were wondering what's going on here. So eventually it was caught, and I don't know, man. It seems like, you know, we joked about this before, that it's just as simple as like flipping the switch to turn on Xbox One PS4 crossplay, and that's literally like what it is. In Fortnite, they're just like, "Whoop, we hit the wrong switch. Let's turn that off."
Right.
And they just turned it off, and then it was back to normal. So it's really that easy. It seems that all you have to do is just flick the switch, and you have cross-platform play with PS4 and Xbox One. So I thought that was interesting.
Dude, I freaked out as soon as I heard about that. I was playing it, and I saw these Xbox people. I was like, Ethan, go upstairs. Get out of here. You're too young. I don't want you being exposed to something.
Yeah.
No, I'm just joking. I didn't play it.
Yeah, just imagine if you were playing with Switch owners.
Oh my God, I got the joke just now.
Oh, it was a Jim Ryan reference. A little love to Jim Ryan.
It was. I just got it.
Gotta protect the kids.
Yeah, protect my kid, man.
Oh my God.
I'm sorry. That was a terrible joke. It didn't land well.
You just edit that out. Just edit it out.
It was bad.
Nice.
So let's move on from there. But yeah, we'll watch the Fortnite situation, and we'll update you guys if anything happens on that front.
No, but really, do you have Fortnite?
No, I don't. I will when it's free to play. Yeah, I'll be getting it this week.
I mean, that's what I'm waiting for too. But I'm interested in trying that game out at some point. I don't want to pay $40 for it. But
free to play.
There's a lot of people really like that game.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people are having a great time with it.
Yeah. I hear a lot of great things about it, but I don't.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be free to play. Like, it's hard for me to convince myself to buy it.
Yep. Sure is. It's hard to fork out full price for a game that's going to be free to play at some point.
Keep in mind that's just the battle royale version that's free to play. It's just going to be the battle royale mode. It's not the full game.
Yeah, but the full game is going to be free next year.
Oh, is the full game going free next year?
Yeah.
Oh, I did not know that. Okay.
This is still technically like early access for Fortnite, so it's supposed to be a free to play title, but the people who are purchasing it now are getting in on the game early.
Gotcha.
But from what I understand, it's a pretty polished experience as it is right now.
Mm-hmm.
People are enjoying it a lot, so I don't know. Take that for what it's worth. All right, so moving on from Fortnite, let's get into the PSVR releases for this week. So we've got DWVR, which is like almost like a light gun first person like shooting game. Light Tracer, very interesting title from Oasis Games, who we featured their game Hidden Dragon Legend on the Indie Spotlight this past week. Pretty cool title if I do say so. So Light Tracer, like a interesting puzzle game where you're moving your character around the various platforms. You try to ascend this tower. We've got I don't know how to say this game. It's either Vrog or Vrog. It's a frog simulator in virtual reality. Basically, if Frogger was a first-person like VR game, it might look something like this. Like you're leaping along your lily pads, you're licking flies, and it's kind of a cool looking title. This one kind of snuck up too, but Voltron VR Chronicles is coming out this week. This is based on that new Voltron cartoon on Netflix, which, from what I understand, is pretty good.
It is.
But Yeah, you get to strap into the cockpit of these of one of the Voltron units. It looks like you might be able to combine and actually get into a Voltron at some point. So that might be kind of cool in VR, but I'll be curious to see how that one turns out. As I stated earlier, Megaton Rainfall may or may not be out on PSVR, leaning heavily towards the may not on this side of things. And then VR Kart's getting a retail release this week. So if you want to go out and do some VR kart racing, check that game out.
Is it $39.99 at retail or $49.99?
I don't know. It's up there. It's up there. Getting into the Vita now. So like we mentioned, Danganronpa V3 will be on the Vita both digitally and at retail this week. SteamWorld Dig 2 is cross-buy with the PS4 title. So buy it one place, get it on both systems. Summon Night 6 is getting a retail release on the Vita as well on Wednesday. Koi, the another Oasis Games joint. The very interesting looking, almost looked like a That Game Company type of flower flow type of experience. Released on the PS4 earlier this year. It's coming out on the Vita this week. And Vostok Inc. is available now. A hybrid of like the clicker genre and strategy and shoot 'em up and all kinds of stuff in there. But heard some good things about that one. All right, let's move into the Xbox. Yes, Franklin.
Oh, I was gonna say, I forgot to mention this earlier, but I don't know if we mentioned this last week or not. But Luke Bernard said that Mecho Tales is cross-buy.
Oh,
so
okay,
if you bought
cool.
it on Vita last week, it's
Yeah.
cross. I have Vita just reminded me that
sweet.
I was going to talk about there. But
Yeah,
yeah,
I don't-
Mecho Tales
I don't-
cross buy.
I don't remember if we mentioned that or not, but yeah, that's a good tip. So if you bought Mecho Tales last week on the Vita, you will own it on the PS4 this Tuesday. All right, let's move on to the Xbox One now. One note here, Arcade Archives Neo Geo Samurai Showdown 2 available now on the platform if you so choose to pick it up.
Sneaky.
All right, yeah, coming this Tuesday. FIFA 18, both digitally and at retail. Fallout 4 Game of the Year Edition, both digitally and at retail. WRC 7 FIA World Rally Championship will be out on Microsoft's platform on Tuesday. Pinball FX 3 is a Tuesday release. Ruiner and Lightfield will also be on there on Tuesday. On Wednesday, Lilith M is a puzzle game. Splasher, which we mentioned on the PS4, is also coming out on Wednesday. And then the big Xbox titles hit on Friday. So headlining this is Forza Motorsport 7, the Ultimate Edition of the game. So once again, this is that thing where you buy the Ultimate Edition, you get the game a few days early, get in there, get your Motorsport 7 on. Then you'll be ready for the Xbox One X release when it comes out in November. You'll have Forza all rip-roaring ready to go. Arguably the biggest release of Friday, though, is Cuphead. So been a long time coming. Seems kind of surreal that this game's actually going to be out this Friday. but Cuphead's long journey coming to an end. It'll be out this Friday. It's been a very interesting history for Cuphead. I don't want to belabor that point or beat it into the ground. We've talked about it on the show here before about the development troubles, the scope of the game changing, the kind of bizarre way that Microsoft rolled this out at their E3 press conference. But from what I've read and from what I've seen in recent previews, it seems like people are enjoying the game, and I've read a lot of positive things about it. So I know it's just a preview build, and I don't know how many levels that they played in there, but I'm encouraged by what I've read about this game. Brent, what are your thoughts on Cuphead coming out this Friday, man?
Oh, I'm picking that up. I got it pre-ordered already. I'm just anxious to finally play this game. I want to see what it's all about. I know it's changed drastically from its original announcement, but I mean that art style is just beautiful. It looks gorgeous in motion from what we've seen in the previews. It sounds like it's a heck of a challenge. But this is a game that I've been really excited about. But it's also one of those games where you've been waiting so long, you kind of lose some of that luster for it. You kind of lose that excitement over time. But I think finally, once I can actually play the damn game, that excitement will return. And I just want to see this thing in motion, dude. I mean, like I said, every time I see trailers, I'm just like, God, that is just so beautiful. It looks so good. It's a fantastic looking art style. And I'm going to try to stream this on Friday. I'm going to try to do a double header. I'll do Hob, and then I'll do Cuphead afterwards.
Cool. Bender, you picking up Cuphead?
Yeah, definitely. I've been looking forward to this one as well myself. Yeah, it looks like a really interesting game. I love the art style. I'll play a game just for the art style if I like it enough. So I really like this one. So I'm definitely looking forward to checking it out finally.
Yeah. Well, I hope your controller is sturdy because you might be throwing it around the room with this one. Franklin, from what I understand, Cuphead is piss hard. So this is going to be an extremely difficult title when you get in here and play this game. So that could be a good thing, could be a bad thing. But like I said, the recent previews I've read of the game have been positive for the most part. Frankie, what do you think about Cuphead, man?
I'm actually still really excited to get my hands on it. It's a game that when it was announced, like I haven't really actively been following it. I saw it. I was like, all right, I need to buy that when it comes out. So, I mean, maybe it's just because it's been kind of like such a long time coming that I've forgotten about it over time, and now it's coming out. I'm like, yes! Like I saw the charge show up on my card for my pre-order the other day. So yeah, I'm excited. I just I wish I wasn't leaving for vacation a day later because it's a game I would really love to play through over the course of next weekend. But when I get back, it's the first thing I'm gonna do is play Cuphead.
There you go.
Cool. So yes, Cuphead will finally end its journey this Friday. It'll be out on PC as well as Xbox One. So be on the lookout for that. Also coming to Xbox One on Friday, Syndrome, the first-person survival horror game. How about this game? Battle Garega Rev 2016, a $35 1996 vertical scrolling shoot 'em up like re-release.
How much?
How in the hell is this game $35?
Wow.
It's $35. It's a 1996 like vertical Raiden style shooter. Crazy.
Launching the same week as the $20 Cuphead.
Yeah. So, like Frankie said, good luck with that one.
Yeah.
Pharaonic Deluxe Edition is coming to retail on the Xbox One as well on Friday. And then some DLC to speak of on the Xbox One here. Of course, the Battlefield 1 and Injustice 2 DLC are available on there now as well. And then Halo Wars 2, the Awakening the Nightmare DLC, comes out this week. Frankie, can you tell us about this DLC, man?
Yeah, so this is the expansion that centers around the Banished. That's really all I know about it, is you're going to be controlling the Banished in this one, and I cannot wait to play it. It's really strange though, because like Xbox hasn't said a word about it lately. The Halo Twitter page hasn't said a word about it lately because the other games just went backwards compatible. But this is another one that I had completely forgotten was coming out this week until I like realized what day it was. I'm like, oh yeah, that's out this week. It's strange to me that this thing is just kind of really quietly coming out to absolutely zero hype from Microsoft. It bums me out because this expansion looks really cool.
I mean, is it just the fact that it's Halo Wars and it's kind of a niche genre? It's not really something that I don't know, that they can affect much with a bunch of marketing. Like the people that love this genre, and they already know about this and they're gonna get this and be happy with it. Is it one of those kind of things, or what do you think?
I don't know. It's strange to me because, in my opinion, I think that's been like Microsoft's biggest game of the year. At least that's what I would argue. I could think of, anyways. But even just a trailer, something, acknowledging that's coming out. I'm not even like asking them to like go and like start marketing the crap out of this thing, but just something to acknowledge that it's coming out would be really great.
Yeah. Or maybe this. Do we know any like stats on this game? Did this do what they were expecting it to do, or any of that kind of stuff?
That would probably make sense why they're not talking about it, because it probably didn't. But at the same time, I mean,
could be.
This is a $20 expansion that isn't included with the Ultimate Edition. Stupid, but
that's a whole nother story.
Yeah,
the old Ultimate Edition 1-2 punch there. Cool. So this Tuesday, that'll be out. If you're a Halo Wars fan, definitely check that out. A couple of the nuggets here: the Volcano Shadow Special Edition Xbox One controller is available this week as well. And then the the Fortnite Battle Royale update. Be on the lookout for that. Let's get into Nintendo now. What we missed last week on the Switch, Thimbleweed Park is available on there now for $20. So if you missed Ron Gilbert's title earlier this year on a plethora of other platforms, check it out on the Switch. Take it on the go with you. And Arcade Archives Neo Geo Art of Fighting available on there now as well. This week on the Switch.
Oh wait, there's one more thing.
Yes.
Infinite Mini Golf is back on the eShop.
Hey, there we go.
The
Only took 4 weeks.
Yeah,
if you've
month and 4 weeks.
If you've been holding out for them to eliminate the penis courses on there, your wishes have been answered. So go out and pick up Infinite Mini Golf now.
There's actually this. I guess there was a poster in there. There's like some demonic thing with boobies everywhere. So that was what changed the rating that got
Yeah.
taken down.
Yeah. So they adjusted that. The provocative posters there no more. All right. So this week on the Switch, the first in this new Arcade Archive series, which focuses on Nintendo's classic arcade games, is coming out, and that's Arcade Archives Mario Brothers. Mario Brothers is a great title. It's a lot of fun. I'm not sure what the features are like on this version, but I would imagine there's some type of multiplayer that's available. This is a great multiplayer title. So if you're in the mood for one of those, pick this up for $7.99 on Wednesday. Conga Master Party is a Thursday release for $10. Keeping the party's theme going, Astro Bears also have a party this week. They're on the eShop Thursday for $5. Cinemora EX gets a retail release this week for $29.99. And One Piece Unlimited World Red Deluxe Edition is a Friday release. Alongside this very interesting title, FIFA 18, coming over to the Switch this week. A lot of eyes are going to be on this game, not only in the video game world at large, but from EA themselves, as you watch to see how FIFA 18 performs on there. And this is kind of a big deal, like getting these big third-party games on the Switch and seeing how they perform. And this is the kind of stuff that third parties are going to be looking at moving forward. We know that these independent titles have done very, very well on the Switch. Now this is going to be one of our first examples of one of these big, like, AAA third-party games and how they're going to perform on the system. If I had to guess, I would say that FIFA 18 on the Switch is probably going to do really, really well. From the people that have played this version of the game, they seem to like it. So I'd expect some big things from this title on the Switch. It'll be interesting to see it moving forward.
Still a terrible measuring stick for platform support.
No, I mean FIFA 18 is arguably EA's biggest game, so at least from a worldwide perspective. So if FIFA 18 is unable to get out there and get an audience for them, what are their other titles going to do? So, whether or not it's a good measuring stick is up for debate, but they've kind of been out of the Nintendo thing for a very, very long time now. So I know they're going to be watching this game very, very closely to see how it does. The Wii U now, what we missed last week, Shockman and Chu Man Fu, a couple of TurboGrafx 16 virtual console games, and they're now for $6. We continue to get the virtual console for the Wii U each and every week, but we can't get the virtual console on the Switch. Come on, Nintendo. This week on the Wii U, Super Ultra Star Shooter is available on Thursday alongside Hive Jump. Hive Jump, was this a Kickstarter game?
Sure was.
Yeah, sounds familiar. Did you back it?
Sure did.
Cool. Did you get your code?
Yeah, cool. Nope, didn't even know it was coming out until I saw the new release list.
Nice. So
Didn't
it's coming
get an
out
email
Thursday.
or anything.
It's coming out Thursday for $15. It's a co-op, like side-scrolling shooter. It looks kind of like Rogue Stormers, which we played earlier this year, Brent, if you remember. That kind of hybrid Rogue Contra type of game.
Mm-hmm.
So Frankie, keep us updated if you ever get your code, man.
I'm gonna give it to Bender.
Yeah.
Aww.
On the 3DS, what we missed last week, Frutakia 2 is on the eShop now for $3.95. It's a slot machine game. And Yokai Watch 2 Psychic Specters will be out Friday, September 29th. We saw this one on the Nintendo Direct recently. There's one final Nintendo release that we need to talk about, and that's the Super Nintendo Classic Edition. The console release is this Friday. And from what we understand, or from what I've been reading, this thing will be in large supply wherever it shows up. So we'll see if Nintendo can keep their promise and keep this thing stocked on store shelves. But from what I understand, some of these retailers are getting large shipments of this system. So could this be a readily available Nintendo Classic console? We'll see how it all works out. But everybody picking this up this week?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Yep.
That's the new releases.
Sweet. Thank you, Mr. Boyce. Really appreciate it. A lot of great games. Make sure you stay tuned to the Short Pause Gaming channel on YouTube. Well, like I said, we got 5 awesome indie titles we'll be streaming this week, and then I'll also try to get some Cuphead up on the site as well. So make sure you follow us on YouTube, Short Pause Gaming. All right, guys, let's jump into the news. First up, big story of the week. Sony puts on their Tokyo Game Show, and there was a lot of announcements coming out of Tokyo Game Show. First up, Monster Hunter World locks in a worldwide release date of January 26, 2018 for Xbox One and PS4, with a PC release date to follow at a later date. Capcom has announced a series of special editions, pre-order bonuses, and a PS4 Pro Special Edition. The Digital Deluxe Edition will come with a bonus samurai armor set, 3 gestures, hairstyle, face paint, and 2 in-game sticker sets, most of which you can see in the picture right here. A physical collector's edition will come in at $149. Other regions' pricing is to be confirmed, and this comprises the game, all digital deluxe content, a soundtrack download or CD in Japan, art book, and figure of the game's new box art monster, Ner Gigante.
That's a tough one. I heard the guy say that on the stream, and I was like, man, I have no idea what you just said.
Yeah, so that's what you give the collector's edition.
That's a GameStop exclusive, apparently.
Oh, is
Sure
it a
is.
GameStop? Okay, all right.
I think it's already sold out too.
Wow. All right. Well then.
I may or may not have purchased one.
Yes.
I can neither confirm nor deny.
I can go ahead and just confirm that for you. Don't worry about it.
I want an unboxing video of that thing when you maybe get it.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Can you unbox the Marvel one too? I saw that box at Best Buy today, and it's huge.
It's a big one.
It is. It's huge.
Pre-orders. All pre-orders will come with the Origin set armor, sets that have been in every Monster Hunter game since the first, and offers better defense, offense, and a gathering skill bonus, as well as Fair Wind Charm item. All digital pre-orders also come with a PS4 theme, available upon purchase. Uh-oh. What?
Themes.
Oh, you love your themes. Lastly, Capcom has announced a PlayStation 4 Pro Special Edition with themed console and controller, which you can see here. And unfortunately, that's as close as you're going to get to it in the States. This seems to be a Japan-only PS4 Pro. That's okay, Frank. You know you're just going to import it.
That thing looks sweet, too.
I do like the look of this.
I saw one that has English writing on it, so...
The plot thickens?
Mm-hmm.
That should be interesting. So, what do you guys think? You guys hyped for Monster Hunter World? Bender?
I'm getting intrigued by it. I mean, I wasn't super excited about it when I first heard about it, but I don't know. I kind of like the thought of teaming up with you guys and exploring a big world and fighting monsters together. I think it could be pretty cool.
Well, when you say it like that, yeah, it sounds freaking awesome. Boys, how about you, man?
Yeah, getting more and more excited the more I hear about this. And I don't know how closely you guys have been following Monster Hunter World, but the more and more people that get their hands on this game, very, very positive impressions of this title. And the one thing that I like that a lot of people have been saying is that it's a deep Monster Hunter experience that people have come to expect from this franchise, but it's also the most accessible entry in the franchise to date. So it sounds like it's going to be a really good jumping in point for people that haven't been exposed to this series like myself. I've never been deep into the Monster Hunter games. I haven't really played one before. So to know that this one's going to be accessible for me, it's a beautiful title. Like, these trailers they've been releasing for the game look absolutely awesome. And then this release date too. So this, what is it, the 26th or the 28th? 26th of January, which is kind of a time frame that Capcom took advantage of earlier this year with Resident Evil 7.
Yep.
This is kind of like almost the unofficial start to the gaming year as we get into things here. So I think that's a really good date for this game. It's going to pull in a lot of people. We've seen games have success in this window, like Resident Evil 7, like Dying Light. A couple of years ago. We saw them come out in January and kind of take the world by storm. It's kind of like the first big game of the year that people are excited about. And as in that role, it gets a lot more attention than it might have had it come out in the fall. So I think it's a really good date for the game. I think it's going to draw a lot of people in. I think this is going to be a really, really big title. And I'm getting really excited to play it the more and more we go through it. It looks like an awesome game.
Franklin?
Absolutely. The second I figured out that this was what that game was at E3, I've been wanting a Monster Hunter game on consoles since I started trying to mess around with Try on the Wii. So yeah, this game just looks awesome. Like Boy said, every time someone does a write up of it, it sounds like a great time. And I just I cannot wait for this game. That's a Friday, so it's January. I'm gonna call off work. Gonna be sick. I'm gonna play Monster Hunter all weekend. I'm just gonna love it. I cannot wait.
I'm not mad at you. I'll have my vacation reloaded, so hell, maybe I'll take that Friday and Saturday off too, and we can all play together.
It's on. It's pre-orderable now too, you son.
One big happy short pause family.
Yay, Monster Hunter for everybody. I like it.
Yeah.
So, the news, and this next story is actually pretty soon. We didn't get a whole lot in terms of like video. We just saw kind of a teaser trailer almost. They didn't give us a whole lot, but Square Enix announced Left Alive, a new survival action shooter featuring Metal Gear Solid's Yoji Shinkawa and a plethora of high-profile group of developers. Listen to the talent that's involved with this. First up, we have obviously Metal Gear character designer Yoji Shinkawa. He's also currently working on Kojima's Death Stranding. He will handle the character design for Left Alive, and the game is directed by former Armored Core director Toshifumi Nabishima, and then also former Metal Gear and Xenoblade Chronicles X mech designer
Takayuki Yanase
is also working on the game, which is produced by Final Fantasy producer Shinji Hashimoto. So, I mean, just a talented. That's like the who's who of developers over in Japan. I mean, that is just an impressive lineup of talent that's working on this game. Boys, obviously you checked out the trailer for Left Alive. What'd you take from the trailer, and what's your thoughts on this new survival action shooter?
Yeah, I'm excited to see what this is, man. Like you said, the talent involved in this is undeniable. So I love Yoji Shinkawa's character designs too. I always love his like Metal Gear covers and in his artwork. Would like to get some like framed stuff from that guy somewhere in my home. But yeah, the teaser trailer, we saw some like gunfighting and some kind of walls being blown out in this hotel, and then this like huge explosion happens, and then we're opened up into this big like post-apocalyptic world from there. And that's kind of all we see from this game, but it's coming out in 2018. It's a Square joint. There's all this talent involved. Apparently it takes place in like the front mission or Armored Core type of universe. Which is the front mission universe. Armored Core is something separate. So it takes place in the front mission universe, which is a long-running Square like RPG tactical series. So I'll be interested to see where this take goes. It sounds like this might be more of a third person like action shooter as opposed to what that franchise has been in the past. And there's going to be 3 separate protagonists from what we know. You'll be able to experience the story from multiple perspectives. And yeah, I'm excited to see more of this, man. Just with the people that are involved, like they've worked on games that I've enjoyed in the past. So really, really excited to see where this goes from here.
Frankie, did you get a check out the trailer?
No, but that sounds awesome.
That's right. Yeah, a lot of talent behind this game. Benner, any interest in Left Alive?
Possibly. I like mech stuff, so I mean, could be something cool. I don't know.
Right. No, it's just like I said, we don't have a whole lot of information on this game, but obviously, like Ben mentions, it's just the undeniable talent involved. And I'll be curious to see what this. I'm sure we'll see more of this at E3. Ben, do we know is this coming to Xbox One and PC as well, or is this just a PS4 game? What's the status on that?
Not sure what other platforms it's planned for right now, but I would imagine that well, actually, I don't really know. I know the Front Mission series has typically been on PlayStation, so I don't know if they've ventured out from there in the past, but not sure.
Okay. Well, hopefully we'll find out more of that in 2018. Up next, Zone of the Enders. The second runner is getting a remaster with VR support. The remaster touts enhanced graphics, 4K resolution, new sound design with surround sound support, brand new features. We don't know what those features are, and you can play this game from start to finish in VR. That's pretty sweet. I have no experience with Zone of the Enders. Ben, what can you tell us about that one?
Yeah, Zone of the Enders. This was a cool like side Kojima series that was on the PlayStation 2, like during the Metal Gear Solid years on there. But yeah, he developed these other like this like mech series that was really fast paced that a lot of people really got into and enjoyed. And the first Zone of the Enders is famous for having the demo of Metal Gear Solid 2 inside of it. And that's the main reason people bought that version of that first game, because they wanted to get that demo set on the tanker for Metal Gear Solid 2, but a lot of people ended up liking the game afterwards. This is the second version of that game. These games have been remastered on the PS3 and the 360, so you can purchase the Zone of the Enders HD collection on there right now. So it's getting a further remaster with the second one here with 4K support, and this is a really fast-paced game. Like, your mech is flying around all over the place as you're fighting enemies, and it's really cool to watch in motion. So in VR, this is either going to make you hurl or it's going to be really, really cool. So don't know which end of the spectrum it's going to fall on. But yeah, I thought it was cool to see that this game's getting a remaster for current gen consoles, man.
Frankie, any experience with Zone of Enders?
I've never played any of them. I know I picked up the HD collection at one point, never got around to playing it naturally. But yeah, this is one I have a coworker who's obsessed with. Actually, the same guy that kind of turned me on to Monster Hunter. But yeah, he's always spoken very highly of Zone of the Enders. Game's got a very fervent cult following, so I expect that to do well when that comes over here.
Bender, you got a take on this?
No, I've never heard of this. Never.
Bender, you
not
like
really familiar
mechs?
with the game.
You like
Yep.
robots?
You like mechs, as you told us.
This another mech game?
It is.
It's a mech game.
It's a mech game.
Okay, that's cool. That's cool.
Sweet. All of a sudden he's interested. Cool.
This press conference was really interesting. If you guys haven't had a chance to watch it, I would definitely recommend checking it out. So it's about an hour long, and they took the format that they used that they've been using in their previous PlayStation press conferences, where it was just like the main Sony guy came out of Sony Japan. I'm sorry, I don't know his name right now, but he comes out, he speaks for a couple seconds, and then it's just games. Just games and games and games. And they took the same exact format with this conference. So I thought that was interesting. And they also had a very prominent VR section in there, which was exciting to see. So, the Zone of the Enders was part of that, and there was a bunch of other VR games that they put out during that section. So right now, Sony is firmly behind PlayStation VR. They've got a lot of stuff in the pipeline for this. So I'm excited to see where it goes from here. But I thought it was interesting the way that the conference played out, and I thought it was a good watch.
I love that they've gone with that approach. I mean, it really does remove all the corporate speak and just focus on the games. It's all anyone really wants. So I know one thing Bender was excited about. Shadow of Colossus got a new trailer. It reaffirmed its 2018 release window. Bender, I know you watched this trailer, correct?
I did.
And your thoughts, sir?
Still looks great. It didn't show us a whole lot of. I mean, well, I guess it's not going to show us anything new if you've played the game, but I think the game still looks great. I really love the graphical upgrades they've done to it, and I can't wait to play it again. I can't wait to re-experience that game.
Dude, I'm picking that game up solely because of your excitement. That's the only reason I'm picking that game up, just because you speak so highly of it. I never played it before, so my first time will be with the remaster. Frankie, did you check out that trailer?
Nope, but that's another game that I really want to play, both because of Bender and that same friend. So he's had good taste in the past, so I'm just going to assume that, everything he tells me to play that I've ignored him on is probably worth playing. So, yeah, just really excited about it, though. Thanks, Bender.
Ben, how do you feel about the new trailer we saw here?
Yeah, absolutely beautiful. It looks like it's going to be a great remaster, obviously with Blue Point behind it, some heavy talent involved. And, the only question now is this a second half of 2018 game, or is this the first half of 2018 game? And what we've kind of inferred from Sean Layden's comments earlier this year was that Shadow of the Colossus would be an earlier in 2018 game. So we will have to see. Maybe we'll get an official announcement at PSX later this year.
I forgot all about PSX. That's what, 3 months away? Less than 3 months?
Yep.
Wow.
PSX. Sony's also running a conference at the end of October at the Paris Game Show. So we'll see what they maybe a Detroit release date.
We gotta get a Detroit. Do you think we'll finally hear from Media Molecule? Some Dreams, maybe?
I think that's a good possibility as well.
I like the fact that they're going VR with that one, man. I think that's where that game's going to thrive at.
Yeah.
Moving on from Shadows of the Colossus, we got to see Earth Defense Force Iron Rain. This was announced. Now, this isn't going to be similar to its previous entries. Publisher D3 is calling Iron Rain, quote, new territory for the franchise as it looks to move away from its traditional style. This can be seen in this trailer here as our narrator delivers despondent lines including "War is all we know," a far cry from the playful premise of a giant bug invasion. So I don't know. I have no experience with Earth Defense Force. Frankie, I think you've tried it before in the past. What's your take on this?
I didn't watch this trailer naturally, so I don't know what the changes are. But the other games have always been.
Frankie, you got to watch this trailer, man. This looks sweet.
Like right now. Should I watch it right now?
You should watch it right now.
You should watch it right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's those games are known for being kind of budget games and looking and feeling that way. Dude, this looks like they're actually finally going like all in on one of these games. Like the gameplay looks like it's like been heavily overhauled. The visual style is just it looks like an HD like you're playing maybe like a big Godzilla game or something. Like these bugs actually look like terrifying instead of just like kind of goofy and cartoony. So I don't know. I mean, if they keep the kind of the gameplay, that's the fun thing about those games is getting in there and like, mowing these giant bugs down. But this one looks like there's going to be some strategy involved. You have characters look like they have different abilities. You got this cool looking jetpack thing. So yeah, I don't know. Like this could be like a pretty intense like leap for them. I'm intrigued. I enjoyed the goofiness of those games. So I'd be curious to see what a more serious toned one is like.
That series is all grown up now. Put on its big boy pants. All right, moving on. Mr. Boyce, this next game I'm actually really excited about coming to PlayStation 4 is Dragon's Crown Pro. Now, this game was absolutely fantastic on Vita. I mean, a beautiful looking game. It played great. It's an action RPG. It was fantastic on the Vita. What can we expect from the PlayStation 4 version?
So we don't know a whole lot about it, but this was leaked a week or two ago. We saw, don't remember exactly what it was, but some type of a listing for Dragon's Crown on the PS4, and people started thinking like, oh man, what's going on here? So this was officially confirmed during their Tokyo Game Show press conference. According to the announcement trailer, this enhanced version of the game will feature 4K visuals and will be released in Japan on January 25th. So I think it's a pretty safe bet that this game will make its way west at some point, as the previous version of the game did. So to see this, these Vanillaware games are exceedingly beautiful. So to see this game in its hand-drawn glory in 4K is probably going to be pretty spectacular.
Oh, man.
But, Dragon's Crown officially coming to PS4. Man, it's pretty exciting.
Yeah, that game is really, 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 really fun. And like you said, just a beautiful art style. And seeing that on the big screen in 4K is going to be fantastic. It's just, I'm really excited about Dragon's Crown Pro. I really hope that comes west. Yeah. We also had some Final Fantasy news. First up, Noctis has joined the cast of Dissidia Final Fantasy NT. According to Square Enix, Noctis will use familiar attacks and arsenal of weapons in battle, and rounds out the roster of more than 20 characters featured in the game. Boys, what is Final Fantasy NT?
It's basically like a Square fighting game.
Oh,
so it's got characters from throughout the Final Fantasy universe that kind of fight in these big, arena-based battles. It almost looks like something like if you can imagine if Square made like a Power Stone game or something like that. Like you're in these arenas, you're going around fighting as these different characters. And it's cool to see like Noctis and Squall and Cloud like all battling each other, like these Final Fantasy protagonists. Like Lightning is in there too, so all these characters from throughout the years are in there, kind of button heads. And I didn't get a chance to play the beta, but it looks like it's gonna be a pretty fun game.
Frankie, you any interest in this one?
A little bit. I also stupidly had a code, but I didn't get around to playing in the beta. There's a lot of stuff going on that weekend, so I didn't get a chance to sit down. But it was one of those things. I was hovering over the game on the PlayStation thing, and kind of people were streaming it, so you could get a couple seconds of things, and it looks interesting. It looks kind of, I don't want to say similar to the way that like Gundam played, but like that kind of fighter. So I'm interested in checking it out when it comes out. Don't know, if I'll get a chance to depending when it comes out, of course. But yeah, it certainly looks interesting.
Bender is a growing fan of Final Fantasy. Have you had any interest in this Final Fantasy NT?
I haven't really looked into it. Might have to check it out and see what it's all about. But I don't know. More of a fan of the RPG games.
Yeah, I stopped listening when Ben said fighting game. So let's move on to the bigger Final Fantasy news. The news that I was really excited about: Final Fantasy 15 Comrades expansion gets a release date of October 31st. In Comrades, players will be able to create their own character and take on quests with up to 3 friends online. By equipping royal sigils, players will be granted special powers from the Lucian bloodline as they strategize and form a balanced team to take on the challenges that await. As a survivor of Kingsglaive, it's your mission to discover more about the disappearance of Noctis following the events of Chapter 13 in Final Fantasy XV's main story. You'll be able to take on various multiplayer quests as well as single player missions to improve your characters. Comrades will be available to Final Fantasy 15 Season Pass holders and will also be available to purchase as a standalone expansion. A membership to Xbox Live or PlayStation Plus will be required to play. Now, guys, this is something I think we should all jump into. We all have Final Fantasy 15. The fact that we can play through some of these missions cooperatively, that appeals to me. I think this sounds really, really great, boys. What do you think?
Yeah, it sounds great. I would have to play the game first, in order to be able to partake in Comrades. It sounds like it takes place after Chapter 13. So I'm gonna have to get through Chapter 1 before I can do anything in this game. But yeah, it sounds awesome though. Like being able to play through with up to 4 people and tackle. So what kind of missions are we talking here? Are we talking like I don't know, like hunting down some type of a boss that everybody would have to get in there and tackle together, or what exactly are we talking about here? Any idea?
I have no idea. No clue.
Yeah. Sounds like a lot of fun though.
Yeah, you have a month and 7 days to hammer through Chapter 13.
Is that it?
That's it, man. Really.
Yeah,
So you'll actually have to go over and open the collector's edition that you bought. Unwrap it, take out the game, fire it up,
You gotta
download
open
all
the box it came in first.
Yeah, the Amazon box that's sitting in the corner, right?
Yeah, no problem, man. I should be able to knock out up to Chapter 13 tomorrow afternoon, right?
Yeah, why not? Shoot, man.
Bang it out. Just bang it out real quick.
Yeah, you got this. Bender, you've played through Final Fantasy 15. What's your thoughts on the Comrades expansion, man?
It sounds pretty cool. I like the sound of that. I really enjoyed that game. I like the combat system and everything. So to be able to get in there with some friends and fight monsters and do bounties or whatever you do, I'm not sure what exactly we would be doing, but yeah, that sounds like a fun time.
Frankie?
I don't know. I don't have the season pass or anything. Haven't opened my copy of Final. No, that's not true. It's opened because I let somebody else play it. So I haven't installed my copy of Final Fantasy 15 yet. So I'm in Boyce's same position right now.
Wow, at the beginning of this segment, I was super excited about playing this with you guys. Now that we've hit this point, I know it's not going to happen, so no longer excited.
Did you say it was 3 players? So that's like you 3.
It says up to 3 with 3 of your friends.
Oh.
So that's 4 players.
So that's 4.
Math.
But that's I can tell right now that's just not going to happen at all. Moving along, Dynasty Warriors 9 gets a release window. The game will be coming in early 2018. And it will launch on PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PC. And lastly, out of the Tokyo Game Show, boys, there was a couple of things VR related that you thought were pretty unique that weren't just your typical, jump in and play this game. There were a couple of things that stood out to you. What stands out here?
Yeah, like I was saying earlier, they had a really interesting VR section dedicated to that unit during their Tokyo Game Show press conference. And I don't know that either of these items will be coming west, but they showed this Japan Studio VR Music Festival, and I thought it was a really interesting look at some of the things that Sony might do with the PlayStation VR technology moving forward. But this music festival, basically, it took a selection of Japan Studio games, so stuff like Gravity Rush 1 and 2, The Last Guardian, Ico, Shadow of the Colossus, and it lets you sit in this virtual room with Toro, who's the mascot in PlayStation Japan. But you're kind of sitting in this room and you're actually watching the orchestra play the music to this game. And so you're watching, somebody play a composition from The Last Guardian, and there was a screen above where there was footage of the game playing or whatever. So it was almost like you could just kind of put the headset on and kind of just sit down and listen to this concert for one of your favorite game soundtracks. So I thought it was a really cool looking, app / game. I don't know exactly how this is being marketed, but I'd like to see them do some more stuff like this in the future. And if they brought Music Festival over here to the West, I'd certainly pick it up. I think that'd be awesome to just kind of sit down in the headset and just partake in a concert for a little while. I think that would be a really rad thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
And then they also have this Nico Atsume, this cat collecting sim that's coming to PlayStation VR, and apparently this is a big time mobile title that a lot of people have really gotten into. So it's a huge phenomenon. I believe it's on iOS and Android now here in the West.
Sure is.
Not 100% sure on that, but there you go,
It's
confirmation. Yeah, so a lot of people are excited about this. So just thought you should know it's coming to VR.
Frankie, are you collecting cats?
Not me. Jen is actually obsessed with this game.
Oh no, is she really?
Yeah. So I don't know. She just thinks it's hilarious because the way they animate the cat's buttholes, I guess.
Oh my
So,
goodness.
I don't know. But yeah, there's these like special cats that you can collect, I guess. I don't know. It's a very strange concept.
Is this
More
like
of-
is this like a Pokemon Go but with cats?
No,
or?
no, it's one of those like idle games. So you set out things in your yard. You can adjust like
Oh, okay.
I don't know, like weather stuff, and like turn. You come back to the game later and have all these cats, and you take pictures of them to collect them. So I don't know. It's a weird thing. It's more of like a weird fascination thing with her. So
That's fantastic. It's good stuff.
mhm.
So that's everything that stood out from the Tokyo Game Show. It was another excellent show. A lot of good stuff that we saw there. Hope a lot of the stuff that we saw there is coming west. Especially like Dragon's Crown. That was the one game I really want to see. But Left Alive looked great. Or from what we can gather, it looks like it's a very intriguing title. But a lot of good stuff out of Tokyo Game Show, though, guys.
One other interesting thing that I didn't know on here, but they threw out the release date for the Fist of the North Star game that's coming from the Yakuza guys, and I believe it's February 22nd in Japan. So now that game's going to be out and rolling over there, I think this one has a good chance to make it over west as well as all the other Yakuza games have. I know Fist of the North Star doesn't have as much of a presence over here as it does in Japan, but they had a new trailer for that game, and that game looks pretty crazy. So
What type of game is
it-
Fist of the North Star?
Just
It's a brawler, isn't it?
yeah, third-person action game. Just crazy bosses and powers and just wild. Fist of the North Star is a very violent franchise, so this game will, I'm sure, be very violent along those lines as well. But looks like it could be a really fun game.
Cool.
I expect that announcement at PSX as well.
There you go.
Well, one more thing to look forward to. But hey, we're going to take a quick break. We've got some music here from Rual Ethan, and we'll be right back. Welcome back. Thanks again to Rual Ethan for providing the music for this podcast. He did the opening, the closing, the music you heard right there. Follow him on Twitter at Rual Ethan. Check out his music on SoundCloud and iTunes. All right, gentlemen, let's keep it moving. Up next, Bungie explains Destiny 2's Faction Rally event, which begins this week. As detailed on Bungie's blog post, the event will let you pledge your allegiance to one of 3 factions from the first game: Dead Orbit, Future War Cult, or New Monarchy. Players will then have a week to support them by completing various different activities and earning XP. By helping your faction out, you'll be rewarded with faction tokens you can use to unlock packages full of loot. The most popular faction by the end of the week will also unlock a special, powerful weapon at a discount price of 1,000 Glimmer. And by discount, I mean a massive discount, because players in the losing faction will still be able to buy this weapon, but only for the higher cost of 50,000 Glimmer.
Woo.
Wow. Losers suck. The weapons in question are the Dead Orbit Scout Rifle, the Future War Cult Pulse Rifle, and the New Monarchy Sidearm. The faction rally will run from September 26th through October 3rd and will only be open to level 20 players or higher who have completed Destiny 2's campaign. Boys, we're adding a whole new wrinkle to our Destiny 2 experience. Talk to me about your thoughts on the faction rally and what's at stake here.
I think it sounds like a lot of fun, man. Obviously we know the factions from the first Destiny. They weren't an overly exciting part of that game. They were just kind of, you pledge to one of them, you get some cool weapons as being a part of it, and that was cool and everything. Mm-hmm. But it's a small thing, but it sounds like it's going to be fun to kind of pledge your allegiance and try and as a collective group earn your credits or whatever, so that you can get access to this gun that you want. So I think this is a nice little wrinkle. I know they're gonna do this often throughout the months here, do these different faction rallies. But I started with Future War Cult and Destiny 1. I think I'm going to switch over to Dead Orbit for this game. 1, because I want that Scout Rifle. 2, because I felt like there were so many times in Destiny 1 I was like, man, I really want that gun, and it was always a part of Dead Orbit. So I'm gonna nip this in the bud right at the beginning here. Pledge the Dead Orbit, go through, and see if we can earn that Scout Rifle. But I think this sounds like it's going to be fun, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I pledged. I was with New Monarchy. I too am going to go with Dead Orbit, unless James Remar is back to voice the character of the New Monarchy leader. I can't remember the guy's name off the top of my head, but James Remar, Executor
Hideo.
There you go. If James Remar is back doing the voice, I will stick with New Monarchy. If not, I'll be joining you with Dead Orbit, because I too want that Scout Rifle. Bender, you going to be jumping into the faction rally, and who are you going to pledge to?
Yeah, I'd like that they're adding this little meta game to the factions this time. I think it's really cool that they're doing that. It's going to make it a little bit more meaningful for us to pledge the faction that we choose. I'll probably do the same. With my Warlock, I was always Future War Cult. I'll probably do the same this time around. I did one of each faction with each character, so I'll do probably the same thing. Did Future War Cult with my Warlock, and then I think Dead Orbit with my Hunter, and New Monarchy with my Titan, if I remember correctly. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I'll do one of each again, and that way I'll have access to everything.
There you go. You get all the guns.
Yep. Greedy bastard, Bender.
always playing the system.
Always, man.
Frankie, did you put any time into the factions, and are you hoping that maybe they kind of flesh things out a little bit, or are you just expecting this meta game and that's about it?
That's probably going to be about it. I think it's a little more than do with the first Destiny, though. Like, I don't remember really doing anything like that stuck out for the factions outside of like wearing like a faction armband or something. That was it. But it sounds like this one's going to be just a little bit more involved in that, and that's pretty cool. Mm-hmm. I like the fact that you're actually there's a reason to do this, like those guns all look pretty cool, except for that lame New Monarchy sidearm. So yeah, but I too am going to do Dead Orbit. Probably not going to be super active on Destiny this week. I've got something I'm working on for the site, so probably going to be stepping back from Destiny for a couple days, at least until we get back from vacation, but still. Yeah, so I'm just going to hop on. I'm going to do the Bender thing, though. I'm going to do Future War Call on my Titan and Dead Orbit on my Warlock, so New Monarchy isn't going to win, so I'm not going to bother. For that, so.
Feel bad. Like I said, if James Remar's there, I'll help out New Monarchy.
Pretty sure he is.
Awesome.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to change the voice actors.
I don't know. James Remar's in high demand. He's a very talented actor. Maybe he doesn't have enough time to do Destiny 2. Who knows? I love James.
Would anyone
Remar.
even really know? I mean, who cares about New Monarchy, really?
Well, I mean, let's not get carried away. I mean, it's kind of harsh, but
Is it?
yes, it is. That's rude. No, I'm looking forward to it. Like I said, anytime they add new stuff to Destiny 2, new stuff to do, and that's awesome. And plus, I don't want to be on the losing end. 50,000 glimmer is a lot. I like how they call it a discount to 1,000. That's a hell of a discount. It's basically a giveaway there. So,
Yeah.
Very cool stuff. I'll be jumping into this. Hopefully, we can pull out the W. But thankfully, what's the cap? 99,000. I'm pretty sure I got 50K laying around, so it's all good.
Yeah.
Now, unfortunately, we go from awesome Destiny 2 stuff to just fighting stuff. So I'm just gonna go drug myself. Bender, take over, man. Or Ben, take over.
Bender, you leading this segment?
Yeah, punching.
Yeah. Hashtag plot twist, man.
Mhm.
Yeah, but Brent, we have a very cool fighting game section planned for today's show. So we're gonna start things off with some Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite news, and we've got our first information on the first lineup of DLC that will be added to the game. This is a sweet roster of characters. So, Venom, Winter Soldier, Black Widow, and Monster Hunter, obviously from Capcom's Monster Hunter games, will all be involved in the kind of the first run of DLC sometime later this year. This is in addition to what we've heard from we're getting Sigma and
Black Panther
as well. So this is a pretty sweet lineup of DLC characters at the add into the game. I can't wait to see how some of these characters play. Really can't wait to see Black Panther, but Venom was sweet in Marvel vs. Capcom in the past. Winter Soldier, can't wait to see how he plays the Monster Hunter character. Really, Black Widow, like all these characters really have a lot of potential to be really cool additions to the game. So really interested to see how they play. Frankie, what do you think about this lineup, man? You excited for these characters that they're adding?
Yeah, these are great additions to the roster. Do we know if the season pass is available for purchase yet? I assume it has to be, because for a while it was just deluxe edition or bust.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I haven't looked or checked for the season pass itself yet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I imagine if they do like the 2017 pass, like I assume it'll be like Street Fighter, where every year we'll get 5 new characters, and they just kind of turn Marvel vs. Capcom into a platform. That'd be perfect.
Yeah.
It sounds everyone I know who is playing this game is enjoying it. I have it installed, so that's a start. But I can't wait to actually hop in there. That game sounds awesome.
Yeah, Venom was sweet in Marvel vs. Capcom too. I loved him in that game. He was a lot of fun to play as. So, if he's anything like that, when they bring him over to Infinite, that's gonna be really exciting. So, really pumped to see him back in the game. And I love Winter Soldier, so I can't wait to see how they have him playing in the game. So, sweet lineup of characters. I'll be waiting with bated breath to see who else they're gonna add on here as well. And moving on from Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, Street Fighter V. Interesting story here. So a posting for Street Fighter V Arcade Edition has been spotted on UK games retailer Shop2. So, this is an article from Shoryuken that I'm going to read here. With Tokyo Game Show currently taking place, many are hoping for additional details on Street Fighter V's next DLC character, along with news on the long-rumored, speculated Super Street Fighter V update. Well, a recent posting by UK games retailer Shop2 suggests that we may indeed be seeing this enhanced edition coming in early 2018. Titled Street Fighter V Arcade Edition, the posting carried a January 16th release date with a suggested retail price of £39.99. So don't know what that works out to for the US. I'd guess $59.99. Based on this, one can imagine that this version of Street Fighter V would come with all of the characters from Season 1 and 2, along with the rumored Super updates. Based on the name, you'd also assume that it would finally have arcade mode as well. The posting has since been removed by Shop2, which suggests that they either put it up ahead of an announcement from Tokyo Game Show, or that it was just an outright mistake. Now, there's been no official announcement of this at the Tokyo Game Show, so this may have been somebody just jumping the gun here. But Frankie, I think it makes a lot of sense for them to come out and release, another version of Street Fighter V. They've made a ton of updates to this game over the years, so it's still the same Street Fighter V that we have right now. It's still the same like service based title that it was when it came out. But in order to kind of reignite interest in the game from some of the more casual crowd, I think re-releasing this game in an arcade edition with all of the content that's been out so far, I think would be a smart move. What do you think?
This is going to sound really strange coming from me of all people, but they already said they're not doing this shit again. Like, we're not going to do the super ultra, arcade edition re-releases. Here we are. Every time they say this, I believe them, and I don't know why, but so I as I'm kind of stepping away from physical games, I wish this was a thing before, but I don't know. I hope it brings more people in though. And I could be wrong on my conversion, but I assume it'll be $49.99 over here. I think we're a $10 difference from the pound right now, I think. But yeah, I don't know. I wish I was more into physical games right now, because I'd probably be really excited about finally having like the complete Street Fighter V experience on a disc. But I don't know. I also am just annoyed that they said they specifically said we're not going to be doing this thing where we release this game, several times over, and here we are.
Well, I think
Shop 2 is also a pretty reputable retailer, so I assume there's a little more to this than that. So
yes, that's very correct. I think this is a little bit different because this is essentially the same game. So this is not really an updated version of Street Fighter V. It's just Street Fighter V with what they've released at this point, like going into the game. So any of these like super updates or like tweaks that they're going to make to the system are going to be like free patches for the people that already have Street Fighter V. And if you're interested in buying the characters, or if you were involved in the season passes, like you have the season 1 and 2 character passes already for Street Fighter V. So in the past, when they've done this, when they've made like Super Street Fighter 4 or some of these other updates to the game, they've like went in and retweaked the characters and really like changed like fundamental things with the game. So I think this is going to be a little bit different in that respect, because it's just everything in Street Fighter V up to this point, and it's really a way just to reignite or rejuice interest in the game. I think that's really all it would come down to.
Yeah.
So we will keep our eyes on the arcade situation with Street Fighter V, but I think just from a business perspective, it just makes sense that this is something they're going to want to do after the slow start that the game got off to, because it really is a fantastic game. It's really a second to none fighter when it comes down to just mechanically. It's a really, really good game. All right, so moving on from there, Dragon Ball FighterZ got a couple new characters, Yamcha and Tien. No shocker that they're going to be involved in this. The interesting part of this though is they're actually making an original character for the game named Android 21. So brand new android they're creating for the game. It's going to be featured in the main story mode. I think that's awesome. I love the android characters in the Dragon Ball universe. So to see that they're making a brand new one specifically for this game is really, really cool. What are your thoughts, Frankie? You actually jumped into the beta for this game, didn't you? Got a few matches in? What'd you think?
Yeah, I got a few in. That game is a blast. I am terrible at it, but I did win a game, which felt really good. Trunks is super overpowered.
Nice. OP Trunks? Sounds about right.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I after my time with that thing, my expectations for that game are, kind of slowly starting to rise, and I cannot wait to hop in that thing in February. But yeah, I mean, it plays similar to how Guilty Gear does, at least from what I remember of Guilty Gear. So it's just trying to get down, like, how to actually play the game, because at least in the beta, like, there wasn't any tutorial or anything. It was just we're just trying to test out the servers, but there was no like button mapping or anything, so I wasn't sure how to do anything. So it was a lot of learning in those, but. Yeah, I mean, the gameplay is great. It's exactly what you would expect coming from the Guilty Gear devs. And I mean, it looks too like it's going to be a very feature-heavy game. They have a lot of... the game has like these central hubs. Like you connect to a server, it holds up to 64 players. I don't know if that's going to be the final release numbers, but you have like all these different lobbies, and you have like these little tiny characters of different Dragon Ball characters. So you have like this central hub that's, to go and fight people. But then all around that are all these different areas that are going to be like kind of launch points for different features in the game. At least that's the way it looks, but it was a lot of like, like red, you can't go here signs. So I don't know what exactly they're going to host in there. I imagine, all your tutorial stuff, your practice modes, all that'll be in there, but it looks like there's going to be a lot of stuff in this game.
Yeah, excited for this game, man. I mean, just an incredibly beautiful game. I mean, how was it watching this thing like in motion firsthand?
Exactly the way that you would think it does. It seriously, it plays just. I fell in love with it, just immediately. I did have like some weird stuttering in the match that I won. I don't know if it was just matchmaking, if it was a server side thing or if it was a game issue. But yeah, all the characters, like, they each have their own unique feel to them. I had Krillin on my team, and he plays very different from Trunks, Piccolo as well. So yeah, it's just getting in there, and it has like that 3-team, like it's a 3-on-3 fighter. So you have a group of 3 going up against a group of 3, and man, it was a great time, especially that victory, dude. It was so sweet because it came down to the wire. And just getting in there and managing to get a super off. And it's cool because it has like that Street Fighter effect where if you got a KO using like a super, you had like that sunshine ray effect.
Sunburst.
Yeah, for the KO. So that was really cool to see. So great time. I absolutely cannot wait to get my hands in that game. You're going to love it too. It's one we need to do a stream with some people.
Absolutely.
For sure.
Yeah, I can't wait for the game. I unfortunately wasn't able to get into the beta. I really wanted to get in there and test it out, but glad to hear you had a good time. And I've watched a lot of video on the game, watched a lot of matches. Didn't notice any stuttering in anything I've seen. So hopefully that was just some type of a matchmaking issue. Yeah,
that's something. The first match that I got destroyed in was no problem. But the other cool thing that I noticed is one of the KO things, I don't know if it's just where you're standing in the stage or if it's the order you're defeating people in, but there's like a stage finish, like you punch somebody and they went flying into the lights.
Oh, nice.
The lights all like, there's like this really cool effect when that happens. So I don't know if that was just like where you're standing. I don't know how many of those you can do, but that was really cool.
Awesome. Yeah. I can't wait to get in there and just beat people's ass with Piccolo. Like, how meta is that going to be? Like Piccolo beating ass with Piccolo. Can't wait, man.
He's a good character in that game.
Yeah, he looks sweet. So yeah, can't wait to get my hands on that. It's good to hear that game's coming along. And final bit of fighting game news here. We got our first trailer for Raiden in Injustice 2, and Raiden looks badass. But I thought the really cool thing, Frankie, was they unveiled one of his skins are going to be, and it's going to be for Black Lightning, which is a DC Comics character. So I don't, unless I just missed it, I don't know that they've done this before, where they've actually taken a DC character and gave you like that skin for like a Mortal Kombat character. So it was a cool way to add an addition to the roster. Like if you wanted to keep it DC, like you'll have access to Black Lightning. Moveset looks awesome. Looks like they're gonna be able to do some slick stuff with either Raiden or Black Lightning. What'd you think of what you saw from this, man?
It looked honestly like how I would expect Raiden to transition into Injustice. Looks like his arsenal of moves he has available to him, definitely able to juggle opponents and do a lot of damage. His ultimate is pretty badass looking.
Yeah, it's pretty intense.
Yeah, I thought it was kind of a cool way to incorporate the Mortal Kombat dragon into a move. So
yeah,
I'm excited. I'm excited to get my hands on Raiden.
Yeah, he looks sweet, man. I just love that they got the Black Lightning skin. I thought that was a really nice touch and a really nice call out to the DC fans. So shouts out to Ed Boon and his squad over there, doing some good things with Injustice too. We should be pretty close to getting Character Pack 3 unveiled, or who's going to be inside of that, as Raiden's the last guy for Character Pack 2 here. So we should know.
No, he's not.
Oh, he's not?
We still have Hellboy.
Oh, Hellboy. Yeah, sorry. Thought he was already out for some reason, but yeah, guess Black Manta was first. Cool. So, all right. Well, we're not as close as I originally anticipated then.
I mean, where are we? September? I mean, I would anticipate Hellboy is probably going to get a trailer around Paris Games Week, so yeah, probably a good time to unveil Character Pack 3.
I agree. Brent, that's going to do it for the fighting game news, man. Welcome back.
Thank God. All right.
Shut up, Meg.
All right, let's move on to something better. Let's talk Friday the 13th.
Oh, that's clearly better.
Something better.
Because we're going to finally talk about the single-player campaign that we were supposed to have a couple months ago.
Ooh, boy,
And
I can't wait. I can't wait to hear about this.
yeah, judging by this DLC map, it's still a bit of a ways off. But Iconic talked about their DLC plans. The future of the single player was obviously the focus point because obviously the single player content was supposed to be out during the summer. It's not out yet. The future of single player was discussed, which has been delayed from its summer release due to working on fixes on the core game. Now that stability issues have been addressed, the developers are assigning resources back to working on this feature, including hiring additional staff. The game's single-player mode will be made up of a number of different experiences that can be released independent of one another. The roadmap, which you can see here, will indicate these will be challenge-type modes rather than a straight campaign. Now, obviously, we got this roadmap here, and there's a lot of stuff coming up, but there's no dates on anything, but there are like kind of little indicators that can give you an idea of when they're targeting this stuff. There's a pumpkin on there, obviously for Halloween, and then there's a snowflake, which I'm assuming means winter, not Christmas. But so slightly after Halloween, before the snowflake, we see single-player challenges demo. Okay,
Great.
The demo for the single-player challenges. Now, we don't see single-player challenges out of demo until well after the snowflake. Actually, it's right damn near the end of the roadmap. So
Is that the next sun?
yeah, there's a beach. No, we're not really sure. We don't have we don't have a window. We just have this strange-looking roadmap with all this other content on here. Some of the stuff sounds pretty cool. You got new kills coming. Different versions of Jason, lots of new maps, but the single player campaign is no longer going to be a straight campaign. It's going to be almost like I would just say challenge rooms, Ben. Almost.
I mean, all we have to go off of is single player challenges. That's all we have to go off of. I don't know, man. Is that I don't like I said, I don't really have any connection to this game. I haven't played it yet, but is that disappointing? Like, I feel like people were anticipating like some type of a campaign with this game, and the fact that they're rolling this out as challenges, I believe people are going to be severely underwhelmed by this.
Yeah, looking at Friday the 13th as a whole right now, I'm not sure, and the way this game was released, the state of the game, I'm not really sure I would want a full-on single-player campaign at this point. I mean, how good would that thing actually be, considering how this game looks in general? I'm not gonna fall. I do like their attention to detail. I mean, these guys obviously love Friday the 13th. They do a very good job at that. But I do like challenge rooms. I like games that have challenge rooms, and if there's some kind of a challenge room where you're playing as Jason and you have to eliminate a certain amount of campers in X amount of time, I'm cool with that. I just, at this point, I mean, just give us something. I mean, obviously they weren't able to deliver the single player campaign they talked about prior, and now they're just trying to do challenge maps. I'm not really sure what to make. This whole thing is just kind of careened out of control, and I don't know how much Dead Alliance had to play in this. I mean, they had some of the staff working on a game that just bombed horribly.
Dude, I was gonna ask you how many of these new hires or people at their this additional staff, how many of them are just pulling over from Dead Alliance? Like, yeah, you probably don't need to work on this game anymore. I'm gonna say
they're hiring new staff simply because of how Dead Alliance turned out. They're probably like, all right, we're not gonna bring you guys over. This Dead Alliance game is terrible. We're gonna bring in new people. Hopefully, they're a little bit better. But
game got just nuked as we anticipated. By watching that,
destroyed. And now we don't have dates on any of this stuff. We just have like a snowflake and a pumpkin on a roadmap. So we're really not sure what to expect from this. But I mean, I don't mind challenge rooms. I like challenge rooms in games. Boys, I know you like the challenge rooms in Batman. Obviously, I'm not expecting that level of quality, but SP challenge rooms, I guess that'll do. I don't even know if this game's going to be relevant, honestly, come wintertime. I don't know if Friday the 13th is still going to have the legs, other than its hardcore fan base. I just don't think there's enough there to kind of draw in a new audience at that point.
My other question with this is, now, the single-player portion, obviously this was a Kickstarter game. Mm-hmm. When they ran the Kickstarter campaign, were they promising a like full-on single-player campaign, or what was in there in terms of that?
I don't remember verbatim what they said, but I do know that a single player campaign was told that the Kickstarter, everyone that Kickstarted it was told, yes, there's a campaign coming. Yes, I don't know the specifics. I don't know if they said, look, yes, there'll be a full on 8-hour campaign. I don't know the specifics, but they did say there will be a campaign of sorts at some point in this game's life cycle.
So that's my question at this point. Do those Kickstarter backers then take this? Once again, I don't know exactly what was in there, but is this like a kick to the face for them? They're like, dude, you guys have been promising us the single player portion of the game. We're, well on into the game. We have no single player to speak of, and the first time we hear of it, we're now talking about single player challenges, which doesn't sound like a very robust single player experience. So, really curious how the Kickstarter backers and this community is going to take this news.
I think Kickstarter backers are used to getting kicked in the face, so they should just change the website to Kickface instead of Kickstarter. Kickface.
Oh, let's ask Frankie. He's been kicked in the face a few times.
Yeah, as a Kickstarter backer of Friday the 13th, I feel kicked in the face. This is the game that's literally just turning me off from Kickstarter. Like, I'm seriously pissed that I backed this game at this point. So I'm pulling it up right now because I want to see what exactly was promised with this thing. All right, so there's literally a single player topic on here. It really depends on where this Kickstarter campaign takes us. Summer Camp was originally conceived as a multiplayer title only, and thus was budgeted as such. It was only after taking on Friday the 13th, because I guess this game didn't start as a Friday the 13th project, that we really started to dream up plans to bring Jason to life in ways that everyone has wanted to experience, but no one has been able to create to date. To that end, the proposed single-player portion will give you the Jason experience you've never had, direct through his eyes. We'll be offering several scenarios based off classic movie scenes from the franchise as you stalk and kill each and every counselor from a first-person perspective. I don't think Jason plays in first person.
He doesn't.
Not to leave the counselors out, we'll be adding several counselor scenarios where you'll have to confront your fears and take on Jason directly, especially in compromising situations. We're not going for anything less than a mature rating on this. The franchise deserves it. These scenarios might also make their way to VR and would bring an entirely new perspective to the slasher genre.
I can tell you the VR is not happening.
These single-player challenge rooms don't exactly sound like scenarios.
I would say it sounds more like scenarios than a single-player campaign does. I would say challenge room sounds more like a scenario than a campaign, but still, I don't know if this is what people were expecting, and probably not.
I think using the Batman reference you had earlier, like think about, when you go into a Batman room, you've got several thugs throughout there, and you've got to figure out how to take them all out, and that's like the kind of challenge. That's kind of what it sounds like they're doing here. Like they're going to throw you into a map. You've got counselors all over there. You've got to figure out how to take them out one by one, or whatever. So maybe it is something similar to that.
I don't know. Frankie, you looking forward to that?
I'm so mad I backed this game. So mad.
Oh no.
This and Hive Jump are just... this, Hive Jump, Armor Krog, dude, Kickstarter.
Oh my. Well, okay. Let's move on from angry Frankie. Let's get to good times Frankie. The next Battleborn update is the last one. More good news for Frankie. Creative director Randy Varnell said in a post on the Gearbox forums, as of this week, there will be no more battle plans, and there is currently no planned content after the fall update. Varnell also spoke to the future of Battleborn and the status of its online servers, assuring fans that Battleborn is here to stay. Nothing is changing with Battleborn, and their servers will be up and active for the foreseeable future. So, there it is, Frankie. This fall update is the last Battleborn update. Any good stuff in the fall update?
I have no idea.
Cool. Awesome. So yeah, more good news for Frankie. But let's jump into some Xbox bulletins. First up, Phil Spencer has been promoted. He has now been added to Microsoft's senior leadership team, a group of the company's top internal advisors. CEO Satya Nadella announced yesterday. As part of the move, Spencer has also received a new job title. He will now officially serve as Microsoft's Executive Vice President of Gaming. Well, first of all, congrats to Phil Spencer. It's a big title. It's a big move for him. Boyce, what kind of changes does Phil Spencer expect? I mean, does this change anything really, or what does this new position mean for Phil Spencer?
I'm not sure entirely what it means for Phil. What I think is interesting about this, though, is I think it kind of affirms that Microsoft has a commitment to their video game side of the business. So
Mm-hmm.
by giving Phil a seat at the table in like an executive, like high level Microsoft setting, it kind of confirms that they see Xbox as a part of their future. So
Mm-hmm.
there's been a lot of thoughts that maybe this was something they might part ways with, or maybe something they might sell off to somebody else. And there's been a lot of that kind of talk over the last few years. So
Mm-hmm.
I think a move like this, at least in the short term, to me, it affirms that Xbox is a part of their long term plans and that they want to
Mm-hmm.
be intimately involved in where they go with it from here. As far as how this changes Phil's day to day, don't really know what additional responsibilities he'll have on his plate. I would assume that for the most part, though, he'll still be doing what he's been doing for the most part, and Microsoft's just gonna keep moving along here.
Mm-hmm. Frankie, any thoughts on Phil's promotion?
Not really. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I don't think he's really done a whole lot good for Xbox since he's kind of come on board. I'm actually really disappointed in a lot of the stuff that he's done. We've seen a lot of studio closures under him. We've seen Scalebound get canceled. We're seeing the Xbox One X launch with Forza 7 and Lucky's Tale as your big showcase exclusive titles for it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Like I don't understand a lot of the stuff that goes on with them, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
And the other games you're showcasing for the system are State of Decay, Crackdown, and Sea of Thieves, and none of them are, So I don't know. It's strange to me seeing it coming now after some of the stuff that's gone on. I hope that maybe with him moving up, maybe there are things that he wants to do that he's been unable to do that maybe now he'll have an easier time trying to do.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
That's what I'm kind of hoping that this is. This kind of gives him a little bit more free reign to do what he wants to do, what's best for in the interest of Xbox. Maybe gives a little more freedom with the choices that he's making, the deals that he makes, the companies he goes and talks to, who he's trying to bring into the Xbox family. Maybe that's what this does. Like I said, I don't know what his position is now, or what his responsibilities are, or what kind of freedoms he has now. But like I said, I don't have any issues with Phil Spencer. I mean, I think he's active with the community. I think he's really good on Twitter. He's whenever I see him on stage, he is a genuinely passionate guy about gaming. I get that from him. But I don't know exactly what this position does. I just feel like based on what he sits at the table with the senior leadership team, that would lead me to believe that, like Ben says, they believe in him. They believe in the Xbox brand, and they believe that he's the right man for the position to make decisions for that brand or for that division.
Dude.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just I want to chime in here for a second about Phil as well, and I think we got to remember where Xbox was before he officially stepped into this position of Xbox. And while there's been some unfortunate things with the first party studios and how some of that has shaken out, I really like the direction that Phil has taken Xbox. Like, he stepped in and he's taken Xbox from the Don Matrick era, which was the bravado, the braggadocio, the entertainment center of your living room, and he's taken it to the gaming first mentality that a lot of people wanted to see it go. Similar to the messaging that we've seen around the PlayStation 4 when that first launched. So he's kind of taken that and brought that over to the Xbox brand. And while things haven't worked out from a first party perspective, like you mentioned, Brent, like Phil's a passionate guy. He clearly cares about gaming. He's a guy that's been in games. So he's not like Matrick, where he's a guy that you just look at and just like, what is this dude doing? Like, does this guy even play games? Does he even like games? Like, Phil's the guy that comes out in the rare T-shirts or whatever, and can talk to you about games, and you feel like this is a guy that actually picks up the controller and plays one alongside you. So he's given this division an entirely different look and perspective, and he's done some cool things with their backwards compatibility initiative, with like the Games Pass and some of the things that they're doing, some of the innovative things that they're doing to try and continue to push forward in terms of a gaming perspective. And hopefully with this new position, like you guys were saying, now we can start to see some movement on the first party side of things. But I like the direction that Phil's taking Xbox, and I like him as a leader for that group.
Yeah, and
those are all good points. Yeah, I just hope, like I said, there's a lot of stuff that's kind of gone sideways that have rubbed me personally the wrong way. I'm not trying to discount everything he's done. Obviously, things like Quantum Break have been amazingly awesome, even if not, a massive sales success. I know people love Sunset Overdrive. I'm not super fond of it, but they gave that a chance. Like, he's definitely taken some risks, even with Killer Instinct and stuff like that. But just like on the whole, and seeing things like Lionhead and Scalebound were just really big blows for me personally. Because like I said, Scalebound was one of the games that I was the most excited about. So, and I don't know, like I said, I hope this position like kind of gives him a chance to, if this was something that he had to do because it's Microsoft was saying like, look, you need to cut this, you cut your ties and move on. Like, I hope if he's moving up that, he's able to be like, look, this is a smart investment. We should do this and this and this and this because this will help grow the brand long term. So like short term, like you said, like putting him there looks good on the short term, but I hope this is more of a long term commitment from Microsoft for their gaming division.
I agree with you 100% on that, dude. So moving on from that, this thing now, obviously I didn't have an original Xbox, but Xbox has approved the remake of the Duke controller. Now, like I said, I didn't have an original Xbox, and I saw the picture of this controller. Is this thing a real thing?
Yeah. I hated this controller.
Really? That thing is massive.
It's
couldn't stand
terrible.
It. Yeah.
Oh,
I couldn't stand that controller.
Well, Xbox has officially approved a remake of this historically humongous original Xbox controller named the Duke. The updated Duke is a partnership between third-party accessories company Hyperkin and original Xbox designer Seamus Blackley. The Duke, the original Xbox controller, is up there with some of the more baffling first-party peripherals ever created. This version will retain all of the original features and colossal size, including the much maligned black and white buttons and a detachable 9-foot USB cable. Like I said, I didn't have an original Xbox. I look at this controller and I immediately thought to myself, who the hell would play a game with this thing?
Look at that D-pad. The D-pad was terrible. The sticks were weird. Like I said, it was huge. The buttons were very uncomfortable to press. They were like these rounded, like I mean, you can see on that they look like infinity stones as they're sitting on the controller here, and like that's kind of what it felt like to push them. It was like not comfortable to push the buttons. This was not a great controller.
No.
Bender, did you see the Duke? Did you see the picture of this thing?
I've seen it before, and I remember that controller back when the original Xbox was new, and I played on it a couple of times. I always hated it too. That thing was massive and clunky and just like horrible. I never liked that controller at all.
Man, so I didn't miss anything then with that controller.
No. I remember that was like my first experience with an Xbox was EB Games had gotten the Xbox demo kiosk set up, and they had Dead or Alive 2, 3? I don't remember which one it was. 2? Mm-hmm. Sounds right. Yeah. So they had the demo for that, and I'm sitting here trying to figure out how to play this game. Like, mind you, I'm like, probably 12, 13 at the time, probably. I don't know. I don't know how old I was. But either way, like, smaller hands than now. And this controller is seriously huge. And I'm sitting here, like, trying to figure out how I'm supposed to fight over here. And, like, dude, should I use both hands for the buttons? Like, it was bizarre. So that initially turned me off from Xbox completely. Because, like, I can't even play this system. I shouldn't get one of these. But I don't have a Duke. I have just a normal Xbox controllers. So kind of want one for historical purposes, but I would never use that thing.
Well, you'll be able to pick one up here soon because, like I said, this has been approved and this is happening. So the Duke will be making a comeback, and you yourself can pick up this just massive controller. I just can't see how the thing would be comfortable to play with. But and the last bit of Xbox news, this is something that we've talked about on the show, and Bender and Frankie have mentioned it. They would love to see Rare return to some of its older titles, revisit some of those great games that they're responsible for in the past. But according to studio head Craig Duncan, returning to old franchises would be the worst thing for Rare to do. In an interview with DK Vine, Duncan explained that Rare is not interested in revisiting some of its old franchises like Banjo-Kazooie and Conker. Here's what he had to say, quote, I don't think it's okay to just go make the same game that people loved before, but with up-to-date graphics, audio, and all those things. Just making them again with whatever technology is available today, that's not Rare. I think that what Rare is doing the kind of games that only Rare would do. Like, no one else would go make Sea of Thieves in the way we're making Sea of Thieves. And I think unless you've got an absolutely killer, amazing idea for how you would bring maybe an existing IP or maybe one of those franchises and do something new with it from a gameplay paradigm or scenario or something that could actually be genuinely different and innovative, I don't think you just redo them. I think that would be the worst thing for Rare to do, honestly. If I went and said to Rare, hey, go remake all the stuff that was kind of successful at the time, but make it up to date, I don't think it would be good. I don't think it would be relevant, and I don't think people would really want it. I think they might think they do, but I don't think they would. End quote. Frankie, your thoughts on Craig Duncan's... Uh-oh.
You hold that thought. Bender. Bender, how's Yooka-Laylee?
Yooka-Laylee is really good.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Weird. So people maybe want those games?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Okay. So my thing, I'm guessing, is the people at Rare right now who would make those games are at Playtonic.
Yep.
So I completely disagree. I completely disagree with that statement. I think there are a ton of people out there who wanted Banjo 3. People want a new Conker game. People want a new Battletoads game.
Mm-hmm.
There's demand. I don't see how going in and continuing some of those stories is a bad thing, but what do I know? I don't work at Rare.
But hey, Xbox owns those properties, so they could get someone else to do it.
Yeah, that's true.
This is true.
I don't understand why they're not. I mean,
They should.
Playtonic exists. They obviously want to make those games.
Mm-hmm.
Boys, what's your thoughts on Duncan's comments here?
Yeah, I get what he's saying. You know that Rare wants to be innovative and make new IPs and all that stuff. But I don't know anybody that's really excited about Sea of Thieves. So maybe they should rethink that. Where they stand on that. But I think there's a way to go back and make old franchises and make them exciting. They look at what they do with Mario every time they make a Mario game. So they take the basic formula, which is Mario running around jumping on enemies, but they create a whole new game every time they come out with a Mario. So Mario Galaxy is different from Mario Sunshine, is different from Mario 64, and will be different from Super Mario Odyssey. So it's like there's ways to take these franchises and do something cool with them, and just if they like did an updated like Battletoads game or made like a new Battletoads game, I'd be all over that, man. That'd be rad.
Mm-hmm. I'd like to see a new Battletoads game, but it won't be from Rare. And some more news here. A couple of things we want to touch on. First of all, Frankie, Vampyr has been delayed until 2018. Did you kind of see that coming?
Yeah. I think especially not getting a date coming out of E3. I know there was some new footage and people had got some hands-on time with it. A lot of positive buzz around that game, by the way. But yeah, the lack of an actual date outside of coming late 2017, I was like, this is gonna slip into next year. There's no way at this point if they don't have a date. Coming into the holiday, there's no way. So, spring 2018 sounds like it's going to be absolute hell for my wallet. So, but Vampyr, I tell you right now, Vampyr is definitely at the top of the list. Don't Nod is awesome. And I would love to play a Vampyr narrative driven game from them. Gameplay looks really cool. So, still excited. And also, I mean, totally okay. There's a lot of stuff coming out between now and the end of the year. We've got a super crowded October ahead of us. A lot of big games coming out that I know a lot of us looking forward to. So I feel like if Vampyr were to try to sneak out this year, it would definitely get lost in the crowd. So hopefully, it's not going to get destroyed by like Red Dead Redemption 2 and a lot of the other stuff coming out in the spring.
Boys, what do you think, man? Do you think Vampyr had any opportunity this far, or do you think moving to the springtime is a better bet for them?
Yeah, this is a blessing in disguise for them. They would have been absolutely crushed in November, I think. So, whatever technical bug or whatever caused them to move into spring. I would say if they can get into the actual spring, like the spring that starts after March 21st, like if they can get into April or May, like that's I think is a good release window for this game. The beginning of this year we know is going to be chock full of stuff trying to come out, trying to hit the end of the fiscal year, before March 31st. So there's going to be a ton of games in the first 3 months as there has been recently. So I think if they can move Vampyr into April or May, it's going to have a better chance to find an audience. And yeah, I mean, it's so busy this year. There's so many games come out. There's so many games still to come out in October and November that this game moving into spring is probably the best thing that could happen to it.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree with you guys 100%. I just don't think Vampyr would have flourished at all in this fall. There's just too many big titles coming out, too many games, and I don't think Vampyr is going to outdo Destiny 2. It's not going to outdo Call of Duty. It's not going to outdo Battlefield or Battlefront 2 for that matter, or Evil Within. I mean, there's just way too many big AAA games coming out, and you don't want to see something from Don't Nod kind of get lost in the shuffle. You want to kind of give it its best position possible, and I agree with you. I think April, May is a good spot for that game. And speaking of Red Dead 2, we're going to get a trailer this week. September 28th, that's Thursday. I believe it was 11 a.m. Eastern Time.
Yes.
I'm doing math. That hurts.
It's good. I'm proud of you.
Thanks, man. I
Nailed
appreciate it. So we're gonna get a trailer for Red Dead 2. I mean, I think we're all assuming we're gonna get a release.
What we expect is a trailer. We don't really know.
We don't really know. There's just an announcement planned for September 28th. So I'm expecting a gameplay trailer, and I'm expecting a release date. What do you guys think?
Red Dead Battle Royale mode.
Look out, PUBG.
I don't know about the release date. I don't know if they're gonna hit us with that yet.
Don't think so?
Don't know.
Do you think that's a PlayStation Experience thing? Because they got the marketing with that.
Could be. We haven't seen much of anything about this game yet, so I don't know that they're just gonna come out, give us a trailer, and drop a release date on us like that. I mean, they could. They're Rockstar, do whatever the hell they want, and it's gonna be a big event. So they really have the luxury to just do this however they want. But I think we're a little ways out from a release date yet.
Okay. Well, we'll find out on Thursday, September 28th, 11 a.m. Make sure you stay tuned to Rockstar on Twitter. I'm sure they'll post a link to whatever it is they're going to announce. I don't know about you guys, but I'm hyped for Red Dead 2. I really like Red Dead Redemption. I know, Frankie, you weren't a big fan of it, but I'm looking forward to some Red Dead in the spring. Mr. Boyce, Nier Automata has surpassed 2 million units sold. What's going on with Nier, and what's going on with Square Enix?
Nier, just a huge success story. Over 2 million sold for that game. I mean, people were excited about the game before it came out. It looked awesome, and there was a lot of positive buzz about it. But I don't know that anybody expected it to be this successful. Nier was a niche franchise, but obviously they brought in Platinum to work on Nier Automata, and yeah, it's been a hit through commercially and critically as well. Like, there's a lot of people that have taken to this game and that have said great things about it. People out there evangelizing the game, like Patrick Klepek and some of these big names in the industry that really, really enjoyed this game and are spreading the word about it. So the fact that this is now over 2 million copies sold, huge success story for Square. So, and it sounds like we're going to get some more Nier in the future now as well, because they're hiring for a Nier-related project. So, this is via Jamatsu in this, or Gamatsu, however you say that, through an IGN article here. But as reported by Hachima Kiku, Square Enix is hiring for someone to handle subquest plots and scenario framing, as well as writing item descriptions and design instructions for in-game use. Additionally, the recruiting page of Square Enix Business Division 6 includes messages from Yoko Taro, the director of the Nier series, as well as producer Yosuke Sato. Thanks to everyone's support, it appears that we will be carrying out various developments in regard to Nier, Taro said. Now I get to round up a team of people to work with me, so I'm putting out a call for talented individuals. So, it's pretty cut and dry, Brent. Nier, huge success. Now Square is moving forward with future Nier projects, and it's unclear if this is going to be related to Nier Automata or if this might be the next proper Nier game. Don't really know, But yeah, huge success story for them. So congratulations to all around to them.
That's a game I really want to play. I mean, I really enjoyed the demo that we had. Seeing all the different types of play styles. I mean, the game has so many genres kind of built in. I mean, you can go from you're playing as a shmup to a side scroller to a regular third person action game. I mean, the way the game transitions to everything, I thought that was really interesting and very unique. And that's a game that I really wish I could have spent some more time playing because I really enjoyed what I played in the demo.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been like I said, a game that people have really taken to, and many people will have this one on their game of the year list at the end of the year.
Mm-hmm. Frank, did you ever play Nier? Did you ever fire that up?
Never got around to it. Once I kind of found out that you have to play the game a couple times over to get to the actual ending.
Multiple ending,
yeah. So I was just kind of like, this is gonna be a lot more demanding than I have the time for right now. So I just set it aside, unfortunately.
Bender, did you ever have any interest in Nier?
I did. Yeah, I played the demo. I thought it was okay, but I did want to check out the full game. I actually have it from GameFly. It's been sitting there, and I haven't been playing it. So I'll check it out at some point. Destiny 2 though.
Oh yeah, that's
yeah.
Poor Nier. How long do you get to keep those games for? As long as you want?
Pretty much, yeah. You just pay monthly, and you can just keep a game until you want to return it.
That's pretty sweet. I never actually used GameFly before.
Yeah, it's nice.
That's good. And we got a couple of Nintendo stories to finish up here. First up, everyone when they announced Doom for the Nintendo Switch, everyone was curious, what's this thing gonna run at? How's it gonna run? How's it gonna look? Well, I don't think any of us expected this thing to be a 1080p 60 game, but it is confirmed. Doom is 720p 30 frames per second on Switch. So 720p 30 frames per second on the Nintendo Switch. Before we get to the next part of that, I want to get you guys' thoughts on that. Obviously, Doom is a very beautiful game on Xbox One and PS4. Runs 60 frames per second. The game has always been a 60-frame game. It's fast-paced. It's action-focused. You want to have that 60 frames, especially with the type of combat that's going on in Doom. Frankie, I want to get your thoughts. What do you think the transition will be like going? I mean, see, I'm not too worried about the resolution because that's, when it comes to Doom, it's all about the gameplay. What do you think that transition is going to be like going from 60 frames in the game that's very, very fast-paced, and we're used to being very, very smooth, to seeing kind of cut in half?
I'm of two minds of it. Coming off of having played it in 60 frames, it's gonna hurt going to 30.
Mm-hmm.
But I also know that there are people out there who think that like Doom is too fast paced for them. So maybe the Switch version is probably gonna be a little more appealing to them, just because you cut the frame rate in half. Doom is still fun. Like at the end of the day, like even if it's dropping down to 30, I still think slaying hordes of the undead is still a really great time.
Mm-hmm.
And Doom 2016 is a really, really great Doom.
Mm-hmm.
So I think even with that, it's going to be fine. Obviously, you're going to have the people out there who are going to be really negative about it, that this game has to be 60 frames or else it's not fun. But I don't believe that. I think that game is still going to be fun at 30 frames. And like you said, obviously the visuals are probably going to take quite a hit on the Switch. But I still think it's amazing that game is running on the Switch. So as long as they can keep it locked at 30, as long as you're not dipping below that, I think it'll be totally fine.
Yeah, obviously Digital Foundry had a video up earlier this week, and multiple sites actually had video of Doom running. And while, yeah, obviously the image quality isn't as sharp, I mean, based on what I saw in the videos, I thought it looked pretty good. I was like, it looks like a really nice Doom game. The action was there. Obviously, it's not 60 frames, but boys, I mean, based on what you saw from it, do you think this is an acceptable version of Doom in handheld form or on the Switch?
I didn't actually see the video of the game in action, so I don't know exactly what it looks like. But my thought on this is when it's in handheld mode, like this is probably going to be a fine experience. Even at 30 frames, it's probably less noticeable when you're on a smaller screen, when you're on the handheld device. Obviously, 720p looks great on the Switch in handheld mode. I just it's going to be a subpar version of the game on your TV screen though when it comes down to it. So I think if you're buying the Switch version of Doom with the anticipation of this being a cool game play on a handheld, I think you'll probably be impressed and it'll be a cool experience. But if you're buying this as something that you want to take back and forth from the TV to the handheld, I'm not sure how that transition is going to be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I definitely. I mean, if I have never played Doom before and I have access to all three consoles, or at least one of the either the PS4 and Xbox One alongside the Switch, and I'm looking to play on TV, this is a no-brainer. I'm not going to get the Switch version, but if I want to be able to play Doom on the go, or if I want to try to squeeze it in or outside of being at home, then I think that's going to be a viable option. I think having a game like Doom, an intense shooter, something that I think the Switch could use right now. Obviously, Splatoon's a fun game to play, but we don't have any like real heavy, intense shooters on the Switch. I think Doom will fill that void very well. So I'll be curious to see how it plays, see what it's like. I never actually finished Doom, but having already played it on the PS4, that's probably where I'll stick to it, is on the consoles.
Other part of this that I'm curious about as well is how the sticks on the Joy-Con will function in a like intense first-person shooter setting. I don't know that because we haven't seen like a really intense first-person shooter on the Switch yet, so I'll be curious to see how the Joy-Cons hold up in that type of a setting. And also, this game was always designed like from the get-go. It was designed as a game in 60 frames, and the designers, when they made the game, like that was what they based it around. So I'm curious if when you change the frame rate, if that affects the design of the game at all, or how it's going to play. And I don't know how this works from a really technical perspective per se, but I don't know if changing or cutting the frame rate in half from a game that was developed from the ground up to run at 60 frames, I don't know what type of effect that has on the overall game experience, if any.
It'll be interesting to see. Bender, now you never played Doom on the PS4. Are you going to pick it up on the Switch? Play it on the go?
No.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and say it doesn't matter if it's on a Nintendo system. That is not a Bender joint.
This is the best response possible.
Just laughs. Just laughs. Now, the other part of that story regarding Doom is the multiplayer portion of it is going to be a separate download, and that's going to weigh in at 9 gigs.
Is that optional?
Yeah, you don't have to have the multiplayer. I mean, it's just something you can
God.
download separately. But that's 9 gigs of data right there to get the multiplayer version. And what is it called? Snap Map, or what's it called?
No, Snap Map. Yeah.
Snap Map. The Snap Map feature will not be making it over to the Nintendo Switch.
That's 9 gigs you can just save yourself. Just don't bother.
Don't worry about that. Just pick up the campaign and play through that, because the campaign is really, really fun.
This brings up an interesting conundrum too, and the reason they had to do it as a separate download is so that they could just fit the single player onto one of those game cards. So moving forward with some of these developers that try to bring some of these bigger titles over, like we know, like Square is looking at trying to bring Final Fantasy 15 over the Switch, for instance. So, what are they going to have to do to fit that thing on a game card? Are you going to have multiple game cards that you're going to have to carry around with you? It's interesting, some of the design decisions in the Switch. Like, we know that those cards are expensive to make as well, so a lot of these games that are coming out are $10 extra than they are on the PS4 or the Xbox One for the same game, and in many cases a game that might not be of the same quality. So it's interesting to see how some of this stuff's going to play out.
Man, we've got Doom, we've got Wolfenstein 2. Is there any chance we could see a Destiny 2 on Switch at some point? I mean, seriously. I mean, no way at all? No way at all.
No way.
No.
And a big part of this, I don't know what you're about to say, Frankie, but it's probably this. Big part of Destiny is the online experience. The Switch online is not there. So
this is true.
Yep.
So until they get that thing figured out, and with Nintendo, it doesn't look like that's happening anytime.
But I mean,
soon.
if they're getting Doom multiplayer on there, obviously they're going to have some kind of grip on it by that point. No.
It's competitive multiplayer. I don't think you can do Destiny multiplayer on the Switch.
You can only play Destiny online, like the single player part as well.
Oh,
so you have to be
that's
online
true.
to play Destiny. So I just don't think that's a good fit for the Switch.
That's an excellent point. I didn't think about that. Yeah. Okay. All right. And then the last bit of Nintendo news, just wanted to throw us out here. Inside, Playdead's very confusing puzzle game that we still couldn't quite figure the ending out much at all. That is coming to the Nintendo Switch as well. Boys, do we have a time frame on this, or is it just an announcement right now?
Just an announcement right now.
Just an announcement. Okay. And that's going to do it for this week's show. That's it for the news. Gentlemen, where can we find you gaming and tweeting? Franklin.
You can find me on Twitter, Xbox Live, PlayStation Network, Nintendo Network, at Viper Strike, and I invited JD's show this past week. So episode 58 of the Plain Listen Gaming Podcast. I got some tracks for you guys to listen to.
Ooh, awesome. Make sure you check that out.
Also, gonna say Friday, there will be a thing going up that you should look out for that I'm working on.
We'll have some gameplay for you guys and girls. So make sure you're following the Short Pause Gaming channel on YouTube, Short Pause Gaming. Mr. Boyce, we can find you gaming and tweeting like crazy.
Yeah, as always, Brent, I'll be not tweeting at Piccolo930. It's my PSN ID as well. It's my name on the Switch. Also, and of course, we have the Indie Spotlight Week coming up this week. So make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel, Short Pause Gaming on YouTube. So you can find Frankie's stuff on there. You'll find the Indie Spotlight. We normally do the Indie Spotlight every Tuesday, 10 p.m. Eastern. But like we said, this week, 10 p.m. Eastern all week, we'll have some cool indie games for your enjoyment.
Bender.
You can find me on Twitter at Bender_Guitar, on PlayStation Network and Nintendo Network at me_Bender, and on Xbox Live at meBender82.
Great. You can find me on Twitter at TheDude1979, PlayStation Network and the Switch, TheDude79, and Xbox Live, TheRealDude79. Make sure you visit the website, www.shortpause.com. Follow us on Twitter at TheShortPause. If you enjoy this podcast, if you really, really like it, go over to iTunes, give us a 5-star rating, tell us why you like the show, write out a nice review. If you're not ready to give us a 5-star rating, that's cool. We don't want any fake ones. Come over to the website, go right into the comments for this for this podcast post, sound off there. If you want to write something real nasty, we welcome that as well. It's the only way the show's going to get better. Send us an email, podcast@shortpause.com. Short Pause Gaming on YouTube, Short Pause Gaming on Twitch, Short Pause Gaming on Mixer. Subscribe to all of them. We're always streaming. Give us a follow on Facebook at Short Pause Gaming. This podcast can be listened to on iTunes, SoundCloud, TuneIn Radio, Google Play, Stitcher, or you can also watch it right here on YouTube. For Mr. Boyce, Mr. Holt, and Mr. Ayler, I'm Brent Felsing. Thanks again for listening and watching the Short Pause Gaming Podcast. We'll talk to you next week. Good night, everybody.
Bye-bye.